Hello, my dear ones. How are you today? I hope you're good. We're busy. Oh my God. I hope you're doing all right. A lot of you guys are sending us in all kinds of information. I love it. It's just incredible here. There's a lot of things being exposed, more about the lymph systems. Remember the human brain and fruit. I mean, there's just so many wild things. Thank you, Timothy Paul. You want to see something beautiful? Look at this. Look at that beautiful thing. And look at that little yellow butterfly. And that was a 3-year-old that insisted that yellow butterfly be put on that. Isn't that cute? I love butterflies. Thank you, my dear ones. Yep. Kate, Sam, Will, Lucy, Toby, Pumpkin, and Coco. The Jacksons. Coco, that's my dog, Coco. Pumpkin is my neighbor's dog. Look at that, a whole family of good people. I love you guys. Thank you so much. This is the class outline. Every class, I change a little bit. I bring it up and add what we found the year before. So every class I redo it. That's the outline. That's the outline for your, well, it's 4 days with me, and then we have an extra day of spirituality and all kinds of things. So this is the outline for the class. Holy crap. Oh, so, guys, I kind of hit the road running, so we're going to move right into some goodie stuff there. Now, what's this? What is this? I don't know. She said that you mentioned her eyes on a video. Okay. And that you wanted to see them. All right, so this is S-A-R-K-A, Sarka, and this is the question that we had asked. It's a Q&A 112 on YouTube where Dr. Morse is reading my letter about MS, and he was asking for my eye pictures. Okay, so let's take a look at this, guys. I don't have anybody to help me, but Gear 1. Take a look at these eyes, guys. Take a look at these eyes. Whew. So, let me see if I can, if you'll bear with me. I'm by myself here, so let me see if I can get around there and kind of show you what's going on here. Let me see here. Maybe I can do it here. No, let me see here. We got any light on? Yeah, this is light on. Okay. All right. So, look at how, I'll put it this way, first of all, what color is her eyes? What color do you think of eyes that this lady has? Now, this is hard. Okay. All right. Do you see this thick orange? Look at this thickness here. See this thickness? That's the lymph system. Look at this thickness. Look at this thickness. But is orange an eye color? No. Sulfur. This lady has been subjected to tons of sulfur. Look at this. Look at this. These are lymph nodes in the skin. This ring here, this dark ring around the eye is a skin ring. Now this is a right eye, and that's her right adrenal gland. And her kidney right below it. And look how big the pupil is. This is a neurological weakness. Now, this is the right ear, cerebellum, and mastoid. Always involved in MS, Lou Gehrig's, Parkinson's. Sinuses are thick. Head is thick with lymph. Look at all this orange color. Look at all this. So what color are eyes? Blue. Blue. If they're brown, I'll eat my hat. No. Now look at this. You see this white in here? That's acute stage of lymph. Yellowing is subacute, brown is chronic, and black is degenerative. The 4 stages. This all is the GI tract around in here. But her pupils are so big, it's expanding out so you can't see some of the things. And that's always a neurological weakness when you see the pupils enlarged like that. So let me just kind of read them to you here. All right, so we have a right adrenal chronic. The kidney is heavily lymphatic up. You have a groin weakness. You have a pancreatic weakness. You can clean the gallbladder, liver out. The right breast area feed into this, and the right chest wall here is weak. You got some mid-back going on and some lower back, but you got heavy lymphatic stagnation with sulfur, which is a major, you have to have major fungal problems. I'd live on Parasitum. Now, you have some nerve rings. It's hard to see them, but you don't have a lot of them, which is a real plus. Nerve rings. Let me show you guys what a nerve ring is. Believe it or not, it's hard to see in these eyes, but they're rings, like age rings that go around and around. She doesn't have a lot of them. Here's a big one. Here's some. Okay, so left side mastoid, all right, heavy. You got some genetics, subacute in the left ear. Your mastoid is chronically involved here with heavy lymph stagnation in the cerebellum, which is going to give you any type of equilibrium dizzy, vertigo, dropped legs, swinging blood pressure, stuff like that. You have your animation lifeline, so to speak. Your main flow is somewhat obstructed. You have a little bit of a pituitary and pineal weakness going on there a little bit, my dear one. I see a little throat weakness. Could have a sore throat during detox. Yeah, you got a throat weakness on both sides. What else can I tell you? Got to get after the lymph nodes. Your lymph nodes are swollen everywhere, but I'll tell you, the sulfur has been blocking you from draining. Not just that, the kidneys as well. Now, your adrenal on the left side, heavy lymph stagnation in that adrenal. Got to be careful. You can get a cyst or tumor on that adrenal gland. The kidney is at a subacute to chronic weakness on the left side. The knee is at a chronic level. Heavy lymph stagnation up in the femur, which leads into a chronic hip on the left side and heavy inflammation on that side in the hip. That's probably enough to tell you. But you have a lot of lymphatic issues to deal with here. You have a little prolapse. Yeah, well, you know what, really? Yeah, some minor prolapsing of the transverse bowel, some minor prolapsing of the small bowels, not too much. So think about the pituitary parathyroid and strengthening neurologically and neurological communication. Calcium is a major role in that, so think about that. So that's what I'm seeing with you, my dear one. And you got a lot of lymph that's getting you bad. You got a lot of sulfur, so you have stagnation there. These are blue eyes. Your skin is down, which means the thyroid is down. But the thyroid might be okay. It's the pituitary that could be suppressing, because I look where the thyroid is, all I do is see a lot of mucus. Bronchial trunks. You get some bronchial weaknesses genetically. All right. Now, I want to thank you for this. I hear you talk about the Costa Rica project and how important it is for you from a natural health organization. This is a letter from Cody. He says, sending you an eye pic. Could you tell me if the pituitary is weak or not? I am 5'2", but having a hard time telling for sure on my eye. Thanks. What color? Blue. Now, you see all the white in Cody's eyes? This white is acute. See how it's turning yellow in places? Subacute. See how it's just a deeper level of lymph stagnation. That could be a little sulfur, but he also could be moving toward the subacute. At the next stage from subacute, it's acute, that's your beginning stages. Subacute, that's full of symptoms. Subacute generally has less symptoms. You forget about it. It's easy to treat an acute problem with pharmaceuticals. Suppressing the acute. Then the acute moves to the subacute, then chronic, and then you start picking up symptoms again. Chronic is brown. See how this is getting some brown look in here? So in time, this eye could start to turn brown, even though it is a blue eye. But heavy lymphatic problems. Look at all this lymph there. This should be all blue. Now, pituitary. This is a right eye. All right. Now, do you only have a pituitary there? You want to get after this, because you've got some spots up in the head, Cody, you want to get rid of. And you've got one big one sitting right with the energy of God coming into your body. Sorry, I was up there. Now, Cody, I want you to look at these spots. I'm going to put my finger on them. Here's that big lacuna right at your animation lifeline, and there's your pituitary. And you'll see the 3 boom, 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 all up in the brain area, and the pituitary right here. Okay, so you definitely got a pituitary weakness. Matter of fact, Cody, it's I might say that you probably have, if you're not having some insomnia, because I think your pineal gland is also involved a little bit here, but pituitary is definitely involved. Matter of fact, you have three lacunas up in the brain. Pituitary, bam, 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 then a big one. So you want to get up here in upper circumbrain and nerve. Now, these are lymph nodes, and you want these lymph nodes cleaned out. See these little dots? Look like flashlights, little dots. See those little dots? Those are lymph nodes. You want to clean those lymph nodes out. You lose your lymph nodes, dum-da-dum-dum. Trouble. So, the guy's getting some stuff out. Got some beautiful pictures of the sky, and buddy's getting some stuff in his urine. But you're not filtering as good as you could. That's not a good filtration urine. You got some mucus in there, looks like. It could be parasites, but it looks like strands of mucus. But you should see a lot more sediment. I got any pictures here with sediment? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Take a look at the difference. Goopa. Goopa. Metabolitic waste. Oh. Female. Hi, sweetheart. Where do you get these beautiful pictures? You know, I lived on the up off the island, Anna Maria Island, for a lot of years. My dad built a house there in 1950. And I came down and went to first grade there on Anna Maria Island. They call it the Island of Lost Souls. There's just something special about that island. But I would never miss a sunset. Sunsets in Florida are friggin' amazing. They're just gorgeous. That used to be our thing. Kind of like that one movie where all the angelic beings met at the sunrise or sunset, whichever. Yeah. What was that? Meg Ryan was in that one, and that was a good movie. What's his name? Son. Yeah. Matter of fact, I had his daughter film one of my first classes. Dennis, who's that famous movie producer? Oh, anyway, his granddaughter produced a movie for me. anyway, yeah, definitely, Cody, sweetie, you've got pituitary, and you want to get after your lymphatic system, sweetheart. You're also malabsorbed here. You want to take care of malabsorption. Neck and lower back. I mean, your whole back got it. Your neck, your lower back here. You just got a lot of lymphatic stuff you got to get going. Also, pancreatic or hip. Get these lymph nodes cleaned out. But I remember you now totally. Yep. So thanks for the letter and everything, sweetheart. That was this is Cody Smith. But yeah, you got it. And you want to look at that. You got 3 lacunas, and they almost stacked on top of each other. And yeah. So you want to get in there and fix that, because when I go to your parathyroid, it doesn't look too bad. Thyroid doesn't look too bad. So you want to take a look at that pituitary and go after that. But you want to get up in the head area there, Cody. You've got some spots there that I don't like. You want to get them out of there so when you get older, you're good. Okay? Very good. All right, sweetheart. Thanks so much, dear one. Oh, let me see. All right, so we're putting together, we're increasing our milk charts, and we're just now getting lion milk in there for you to show the difference between the carbohydrate, the lipid, and the protein. Almost on every milk, on every species except carnivores, it runs like this. The number one ingredient, in terms of the 3. We're not talking about vitamins and minerals and all the other stuff in these milks. We're talking about the 3 main factors that we break foods into. Your sugars or your carbohydrates, your lipids, and your proteins. So every milk out there, except the carnivore, has sugar number 1, half of that in lipids, and half of that again in proteins. So, this whole concept of proteins is ridiculous. Now, she's pulled off some more stuff, which is really good. According to what this study shows, this is mammalian biology, and this is composition of African lion milk collected a few days postpartum. Interesting. A couple days postpartum, huh? I don't know about that. But the protein content is about half that of the lipid again. But what's interesting is the carbohydrate is low. But think about that. The only way they're going to get, basically, is they get on some grass, or they go right to the gut tissue of, let's say, an antelope or someone who is a herbivore. They go right after the intestinals where it's pre-digested protein, amino acids. So it works better for them. So it's interesting. I'm still on that project, still working on that project for you guys. Got your letter, sweetheart. And snow, being raw with snow on the ground. That's tough. Woohoo! Oh, my favorite scene. Not really? Oh my God. These are neat. But cold, Nancy. Cold, Nancy. Cold, 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 my dear. Ooh, it makes me cold just thinking about it. Oh, so this is Lynn, and she's from New Zealand, and they have a water there. It's called Antipodes, Antipods, or something like that. It's supposed to be the best water in the world. Boy, I'd love to try that. And they also are using a deep. Let me see. They got a. They have a well here that they use. Yeah. You got a 100-foot bore mixed with rainwater, and it's filtered with ultraviolet light and stuff. So that's really good. 100 feet's not very deep though, but that's okay. A shallow well, but especially if you're mixing it with rainwater. My thought is to go way down into the lower aquifers, get 1,000 foot. I don't know. It's survival. Alright, so this guy wanted me to add this to a YouTube question. The problem is I already added the YouTube question, and it's about the Indigo children and stuff. This is a Gonzalez. Could add this to my YouTube question. This happened before I had gone to the clinic and started the protocols. I forgot to put this important information about 1111 and Indigo. I'm aware that I'm obsessed with this stuff too. Well, you know what? When you student 1111 everywhere you go, right? And for me, 1111 means that we are all individuals from the same source. We all stand alone as one. And that's how it is. If you understand the Godhead and who God really is, you'll understand that there is just the one. That's why all religions talk of just the one, except for you Upanishads and stuff. But then you've got the many. But the many is in creation. The one is consciousness. And creation comes out of consciousness. In other words, when you start looking at creation, we tend to judge from the outer part of our consciousness. If you have a physical body, you tend to judge creation and God from the physical. Can't do that. You got to reverse the way you look at life. You can't you look at life from the physical to the Godhead. You've got to change the way you perceive and look from the Godhead down. How do you do that? Stop thinking. Thought is what separates you from the Godhead, because the mind is creation. The ego is your separation, is your individualization from the one. Now you can take that ego and send it out there. There's a lot of narcissistic individuals right now. Holy crap. But that's the one. That's the biggest trap you face, entering God consciousness again. For you guys on the spiritual journey, that's your biggest area to overcome. You have to virtually lose yourself to find yourself. And not lose it like you're in creation, where you're lost through thoughts. But you have to lose any points of identification of yourself. I'm a male. No, you're not. I'm 5'9". No, you're not. That's what my body is. That's not who I am. And that's what we have to learn to separate. Kind of like the same world of diseases. There's diseases, and then there's us. Diseases belongs to the medical community. They created that whole idiocy and is lost in it. And we've talked about that a great deal. And brother, does this have to change? I mean, there's a lot of things coming out about the agendas. And one of the big problems at the World Bank, it suffered a big loss recently. Mm-hmm. So, back to the drawing board, right, World Bank? So, 111. Everybody sees, anybody that I think that's awakening and getting beyond the mundane life of thoughts and desires, and now is experiencing a greater sense of awareness and seeing and knowing things. You're going to start seeing 1111. Others are seeing 444. You know, there's other numbers that people are seeing, but 1111. There was even a book written about it, and I bought it up here at a New Age bookstore. And at 1111, it didn't answer anything for me. Didn't really have an idea. But it does confirm that a lot of people are seeing 1111. So interesting stuff. That's all I got to say. But then you're interesting too. And to realize that each and every one of you are interesting, beautiful beings having a physical experience. And it's tough because you are this free being that can move by thought in creation. Here we're moving by thought, but the body is so chemical that it takes a while to get the body moving to keep up with thought. Your mind can way outperform the physical by far, even the emotional. Everywhere I go, so this one time I follow it. I saw 1111 while walking on a street at a building, and in the same building I saw a pulmonary specialist. In the past I had smoked, so I thought it would be a good idea to check myself. So I went inside, and the first thing I saw on a table was an Awakening magazine. And when I opened it, I saw an article on indigos, and I was like yeah. So you woke up. What is this? How can it be? I can't explain what happened. I was just like, wow. So that was what truly confirms me that I was an indigo. Even though my friend had checked with a crystal, I was still unsure. You know what? It doesn't matter. I don't know if you saw, what was that movie, Blazing Saddles. Remember that, Blazing Saddles by Mel Gibson? Wasn't that not Mel Gibson, Mel Brooks, the director Mel Brooks. Funny guy. But we don't need no stinking badges. You know, they had to give badges to all the crooks so they could act like cops or sheriffs or whatever. We don't need no stinking badges. You don't need to have points of identification to identify yourself as one thing or another, because when you do that, you limit yourself. You guys are big, giant beings. You can limit yourself to an indigo, but that's just this area. And, you know, the consciousness might be there, but what you're seeing, and you see this in all the planes, is that as the consciousness supposedly expands a little bit, then higher souls are coming in. You have souls that are more advanced, and this is their last lifetime. And the thing about why this world is so tough right now, it does give you all the opportunity to let go. It gives you the opportunity to let go of this world and be free, once and for all, of this level. You still have a physical body, that's so. You still feed it and clean it and everything else, but you're awake. You're awake here in consciousness. You're seeing and getting things, impressions and information flood into you that you don't know where it's coming from. Pretty cool stuff. So it doesn't matter whether you're an indigo or a golden child. It doesn't matter, because you are none of these things. You are so much more than these things. Remember that. You're an infinite being playing in the fields of dreams or in the fields of creation. And this is your journey. Whatever you make it, cause and effect rules. And once we all learn that, then you realize what you eat is impactive to your health and wellness. For a whole modality, at the level that the medical doctors claim they're at, to negate their concept that food has no bearing on the pHs of the body. What? I mean, unreal. Because through theory demonstration, right, we can demonstrate all day long until the cows come home that what we do works. But what we do is scientific. We're going back to simply the diet man was, the islander species that he is. Now you're seeing things like the fruit and the brain sizes and stuff. That is just too cool. I just love all of that. Because man has had this idea that fruits and berries are inferior. We had some lady call us up and just reamed us like crazy. Just called us everything under the sun. And she was calling about a friend of hers who she called anorexic. Well, we looked her up and there's no anorexia to her. But she's probably getting thin on a detox. And so her friend, who has no idea what she's going through, thought we were hurting her or something, and took off on that. And it's like, this is the problem. The ignorance is so high on this planet in regards to health and healing. It's unbelievable. And this lady said, well, you're not a medical doctor. And I'm thinking, thank God I didn't go that route. I was going to, but I didn't go that route. I can still take courses and get it. But why? Why study something that doesn't exist? Why change from what you know to be true in physics and chemistry and how life works? And it's demonstratable. You can't demonstrate your theory in allopathy because you are. And look at the world. It's a mess. Death is everywhere. It's horrible. And the drug lords, and I'm not talking about drugs like cocaine, and then I'm talking about pharmaceutical drug lords. These guys are the bad boys. They own the FDA. They own a lot of people. How do you FDA people like to be owned? Because you're all owned by the pharmaceutical company. So most of the FDA people sold their souls out for money. They're owned by the pharmaceutical world. Now, what kind of karma do you think that's going to bring those souls? See, once you know karma is real, and karma is simply, Jesus said, you reap what you sow. We know for every action there's an opposite and equal reaction. We know these things are true. So, you must think about it. When you initiate an action, you must realize that that action is karmic. There's going to come back a blowback from that. There's a blowback in detox. There's a blowback from chemotherapy. There's a blowback from everything. Because it's cause and effect. Everything is cause and effect. And to not to understand that is to live in theories that are far, far away. In galaxies far, far away. So this whole thing about indigo and all that, it's cool stuff, but it's just food for the... Because when you're so trapped here on this plane, just the thought of being an indigo and also out-of-body traveling and stuff is incredible because of the narrow experience that this planet gives you in relationship to who you are. So the experience here is so narrow and so less free. When you start to feel total freedom in your beingness, you stop identifying with all the things of creation, there's a nirvanic experience, an ecstasy that comes and rolls through you that is hard to define. And once you've had those, it changes you. You realize that this is creation, this is the drama, this is the movie, this is the show. But we're the actors on the show. Get in touch with the actor or actresses, either way. So that's what I would say, my dear man. Yeah. I wanted to cover that. Oh, yeah. Yeah, sweet little girl. I hope she does all right. Brain tumor, stuff like that. I'll tell you what. I'm real compassionate when it comes to the kids and tumors and crap like that. All right. All right, so this was a letter I received by someone. This is from Jasmine. And the message is, hello, my name is Jasmine, future student of Dr. Robert Morse. My favorite doctor, thanks, sweetheart. I love you too. Question for Dr. Morse. What could have been done to save this woman? A correct dosage of insulin with fresh squeezed orange juice dripped orally into her mouth if too weak to physically drink? We got a good point there. Possible. Good point there. And pure coconut water intravenously dripped into her arm? Possible. Absolutely. Saved Mum once. She had overtaken her insulin. You know, this is what I love about you guys. You guys are applying and also utilizing consciousness to where you're saying, oh, I can do this and do this to do this, and it'll do, and you did. You saved your mom. Now, she's talking about a lady here. Unlicensed practitioners, this was under Quack Watch. If there is anybody that ever needed to be under Quack Watch, it's medical doctors. If there's anybody that needed to fall under Quack Watch, it's medical doctors. But There's a lot of them out there too in our field. There is. There's a lot of crap out there. There's a lot of people telling people lies and all kinds of stuff. So it's not just the medical community. They're more focused. Their whole modality is in trouble. But unlicensed practitioners, you know, the whole thing about licensing and unlicensing, I'm going to talk to you about that just real quick. When a state requires a license for anything, that means that what you're applying for the license for is a privilege. And you're applying to the state to ask them if you could have a license to practice that. I say Americans are free under the Constitution, and that is a crime, a state crime, in violating your rights. Florida's a right to work state to begin with, but you have a right when you come to this planet to do what you want. If you fixed yourself under a government that's suppressive, I don't know what to say about it. We're trying to correct our government. It got real bad under Obama, suppressive like crazy. The regulations, I mean, they just locked everything down, and you started to see everything go down. It's horrible. But that's power and control. Part of the one world order, part of a group that we can't talk about here on YouTube. But unlicensed practitioners, you don't want to be licensed. That's a violation of your rights. You have a right to practice whatever you want. You're not being a medical doctor and getting well. Look at how easy you guys are learning how to get well from some of the most devastating experiences. You didn't need to go to school for that. This is the school right here. My International School of Detoxification. They're 5-day intensives. I told the California school, I said I could teach anybody how to get rid of leukemia in children in 5 days, easy. Give me 3 days. Excuse me? So that's what I'm saying, is that this whole hype, you need to be academically intellectual, you need to know all this stuff about the body, you need to know all that stuff is bullcrap. Bullcrap. Because those people that are at that don't know a thing about the body, don't know what causes anything, but they live in the world of diseases. But we sure can treat them. We sure can treat them with pharmaceuticals. We can do that for you all day long. We try. We try to help you. These pharmaceuticals are life-saving drugs. Bullcrap. The herbs are life-saving, not pharmaceuticals. You might have a pharmaceutical that can pull you out, definitely in the emergency room. I love emergency rooms. Yeah, there are some pharmaceuticals that we need for emergency care, but not in general health care. General health care doesn't belong to allopathy. It belongs to naturopathy. And osteopathy used to. But this person was fined like $320,000 for 7 violations, each of which reflected what had happened to one client. $70,000 for 2 violations related to 2 of the clients. Documents in the case indicated that Lockman founded the Tanglewood Wellness Center, which operated first in, I don't know where that is, Bethesda, I don't know where this, and then in Tremont, Maryland in 2005. He fled to Panama and relocated his facility. Lockman employed Trader in 2003, 2004. The pair advocated a raw food diet and administered water-only fasting for lengthy periods for people whose health conditions were worsened or could have been worsened by such fasting. Now, the problem is the unawareness of the quackwatch people and whoever the hell they are. Because nature water fasts. Here's the problem, and I've said this about the gentleman that's doing this extended fast on the cooked grape juice and all this crap. Be careful. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I found that. Be careful. Because that's just what this article's about, is radicalness. Radicalness. And I'm about to get to that. So the first thing, though, is water fasting is nature. So that doesn't make anything worse. It can increase symptomology if you're eliminating and you're getting your lymph moving. It can make you have a cold and flu-like symptom or something like that. Yeah. But water fasting does not create atrophy or decay of cells or anything like that. That's a fallacy. There's nothing about that. So that's alluding. You have to be careful how people word things. Listen to the words that people use, because these people can articulate and stick a word in there that has nothing to do with it. It makes it sound totally different. Like conditions worsened by such fasting. That's bullshit. They also encourage the use of prescribed. They also discourage the use of prescribed medications. Well, I can see that. And we all should. You know, anybody that thinks that pharmaceuticals are candy, you need to go have your head examined. This stuff is far from candy. Aspirin can kill you. So you've got to realize that we are going to discourage the use of pharmaceuticals when botanicals will do quite well. The problem is allopathy doesn't like that. Well, too bad. And that's where they need to get beat up. And they've suppressed and come down on us so hard, and they made states and everything else that this has got to change. This is sickening. They're part of why this planet's going down. Sorry, little one. Go. I didn't kill you, but go. All right. But here's where the problems come in. But conducted themselves in a manner that suggested that they were trained health professionals, even though they were not. You know what? Here's the thing. Health professionals. These people probably were health professionals. This was written by a Stephen Barrett, MD. Now, Stephen Barrett, MD, is a trained health professional, right? Not on your life. Stephen Barrett is an MD. He's not trained in health. He's trained in diseases. He's not trained in health. That medical doctor has no clue what causes any of man's suffering, probably. If he does, he wouldn't be writing this. So here's a medical doctor that thinks, here's a narcissistic medical doctor that thinks that he's a healthcare professional. And he's not even close to that. When you use the word health, that's like us using the word diseases. It doesn't belong to allopathy. All right? Documents in the case further indicate that the traitor referred to himself as a retired naturopath. All right? He has a right to be that. In the fatal case, all right, so a lady died here. That's the problem. Now, when I read this conjured up Kerry Reams, because I followed Kerry Reams for a while. He was a biochemist that came out with the Reams thing. This is where 60 Minutes, and this is what I hated about 60 Minutes at the time. One of them there pulled a fast one. And so what he did, Kerry Reams took urine, looked at all the chemistry in the urine, the sugars, the proteins, and all that, and from that, as a biochemist, gave an indication what was going on in your body. Well, some of it's true. I mean, come on. So he had his equations up and everything else. He's a biochemist. So what 60 Minutes did, Wally Safer, one of them, they got about 4 or 5 guys to pee in a jar. And they took that urine to him and had him analyze it. Well, it came out a certain chemical equation, which 100 people pee in a jar, it'll come out at a homeostasis, because that's a law of physics and chemistry in a way. And so, yeah, you reach saturation, you reach all of this, and so, yeah, the urine's going to have an equation to it, whether 100 people peed in it. So I thought that was underhanded, because it really doesn't matter how many people peed in there. He will always come up with an equation. And they took Kerry Reams' biochemistry work to this big, fat medical doctor. And you probably can Google, this was 20 years ago probably, on 60 Minutes. And they showed this medical doctor, Kerry Reams' equations and stuff, and said, "What does this mean to you?" And the medical doctor sitting there and said, "Well, nothing." Well, of course it meant nothing to him. He's not a biochemist, number one. He's overweight, so he doesn't know nothing about health, number two. And he's a medical doctor, number three. So wrong field, wrong everything. And yet they did the 60 Minutes as if it was some big deal, exposing Kerry Reams and all that stuff like that. That was underhanded. That made That lost my respect for 60 Minutes. But when the state came after me and tried to file charges against me, I was with a federal prosecutor. He's a good friend of mine, client, and he pulled me the case of Carrie Reams. And there was a lady with type 1 diabetes that died in his clinic. Similar situations. And when the ambulance got there, they found Carrie Reams with his feet up on the desk reading a newspaper and the dead girl in the back. So there's obviously a lady that got killed here. In the fatal case, he advised a 22-year-old woman with insulin-dependent diabetes to stop taking her insulin and undergo a water-only fast. That's the gun that sunk them. You don't tell people to come off of their insulin. You know, there's certain pharmaceuticals that's a no-brainer. Blood pressure medication, you can drop it like a hot potato. Steroids, things like that, you can't drop as hot potatoes. And insulin, you can't drop. So this was very concernful when I read this. Because the first part's bullcrap. You know, we all have a right to practice. We have the right to help everybody. If states don't like it, too bad. We're going to get ourselves in a position to where we're going to go from state to state to state and sue them and take care of this, because there's no way we cannot have a world that continues to suppress healing and wellness, the truth of it. Can't no longer do that. That's why we're all here together. That's why you beautiful souls are out there working with others. But what you don't do is tell people to get off their medication, particularly if they're life-threatening. And insulin would be life-threatening to someone, because their blood sugars obviously drop down to nothing, and of course they get out. Because when you fast, that's going to make your blood sugars drop even more. This guy was stupid. And when you fast someone and you take them off of insulin, their blood sugars are going to go way down. And then you're going to have the insulin bump. So you're just way down, so that's probably what killed her. Same thing in Carrie Reams. So that's not good. That was a bad advice, since he's paying the price for that. That you don't want to never do that. Now, blood pressure medication, you got to watch that. You could drop that anytime. Not life-threatening. Because when you start on a raw food program, it's going to pull the edema out. It's going to pull the acidosis and accumulation out. It's going to lower pressures. It's going to relax the body. And the blood pressure goes down. You don't have to worry about that. It's a fact. But if you're on blood pressure medication, you have to worry about it, because you can dump yourself into low tension, low blood pressure. Then you might be going to the ER. Same thing with blood sugars and everything else. So be prudent in your thinking. Check your stats. Check their blood sugars. Check their blood pressures. Easy stuff to do. They can check their own blood sugars. Easy stuff to do. Easy stuff to learn. Don't make things too complicated. They always want you to think things are complicated, so only they can deal with it. And each and every one of you can deal with this wine. This is just a narcissistic medical. And Quack Watch, that always used to get me. Let me see what else. After she became acutely ill with diabetic ketoacidosis, he administered huge amounts of insulin. Jesus Christ, this guy was ignorant. But she lost consciousness and died soon afterwards. You know, all I can tell you is that what you said earlier, the lady that sent this to me, Jasmine, she's probably right. You could have went back. But the first thing you do is you don't take anybody off of insulin. That was stupid. And then this guy must have had no experience in fasting, water fasting, with blood sugar people and blood pressure people, because everything, you realize that when you start pulling the acids out of the body, it will pull the edema out of the body with it. Everything that's pressured will relax. You relax. The kidneys relax, the inflammation comes out of these tissues, and everything, all your stats go down to your genetic pass. Not normal stats, your genetic pass. And that generally means a low blood pressure almost for everybody. There's the heart. There, I'll scoot over a little bit here. So this is the bad stuff. Bad stuff. This guy was ignorant, and you don't do stuff like that. You must be careful on fasting and long-term stuff and long-term dry fasting and stuff like this on some of these people. You know, you want to be prudent and you want to be simplistic, but you want to be prudent. You want to know what you're doing. And I will teach you. I will teach you as much as I can through this. We teach it in school and teach you how to be prudent in taking care of people. You know, the person got themselves in these troubles. But they got themselves, because this whole planet is warped in its consciousness and its lack of understanding of health and wellness. The medical power has overridden and killed so many people. And even them have a hard time understanding their own narcissism. So, but you want to be careful when you deal with people that are on life, stat-saving things like insulin, which is a hormone. Insulin alone is not sufficient treatment for diabetic ketoacidosis, and this is true. This medical doctor is true in some ways in what he knows about true, but you know what will get rid of ketoacidosis? Watermelon. 3 other clients appeared to have suffered impairment of their memory as a result of prolonged fasting. Oh, look at that crap. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a bunch of crap. You know, this medical doctor, they're all out there. You know, if we wrote things about them, it would be far worse. I mean, this is the pot painting itself black here. Nobody gets memory impairment by prolonged fasting. You would get memory improvement maybe. Another patient became emaciated and developed beriberi, a severe B vitamin deficiency as a result of severe fasting. I can't speak to that. I've never seen that. But then I don't know what kind of fasting this person did. 2 other clients were dissatisfied with their experience and left within a week. One was a man with severe heart disease who could have been heading for a disaster as a result of stopping his medications. See, these people think that pharmaceuticals are life-saving drugs. Big mistake. Because in the life-saving, they can take your life. There's only a few that are saving you, that are keeping you supported while we fix you. And some of those you need. You know, something like insulin, you got to keep your blood sugars up or down you're going into a coma. You know, this is a big thing in detoxing anyway that I tell people that are on insulin. Watch your insulin. Because you can't stay on the same dosage of insulin when you go on raw foods and you go on your detoxing, because your blood sugar is going to come down, not go up. It's going to come down. If you're taking the same dosages, you can run yourself in ketoacidosis that way. So it's a lot more than this medical doctor even knows, obviously, but a lot more that this naturopath should have known, or whatever he was. But dangerous. You know, I like to ride the world of balance. And I think that's a very important thing for each of you to think about, is the world of balance. Because you'll live long, you'll help people live long, and everybody's happy. Those guys like our YouTuber guy that's out there doing extended, you can get yourself in trouble. You can get yourself in trouble just like this guy did. And that's a lot of money to be fined. $320,000. Where would anybody get that kind of money? He must have been a wealthy guy, because where would you ever get $320,000? That's a lot of money. $70,000 is a lot of money. Lockman still operates the Tanglewood Wellness Center in Panama, which offers treatment for $900 for the first week and $500 to $700 for subsequent weeks, depending on the length of stay. His website claims that his methods can enable people to lose weight, never be sick again, have abundant energy and mental clarity, and look younger, all with no side effects, safely, easily, and naturally. Trader has relocated to California. I guess this was another person involved here. Recent autobiography sketches states that he obtained a naturopathy degree from Clayton College in 1991. Clayton College was pretty popular for a while. It went out of business, but it was giving ND degrees all over the place for a while. A lot of people got their degrees at Clayton. You know, there's really only 2 go-to attending naturopathic schools here in the States. That's Bastyr and Southwest. And who wants to go to those? They're not only expensive, but they teach allopathy, basically, treatment of diseases through natural means. That's not naturopathic school. So no one wants, I mean, those that are awake don't want to go there. So then we have to deal with distance learning schools where you have to go through the mail or attend and go back and forth and crap like that. It's just the nature of the beast. But you want to hook up with people with experiences with detoxing and get, experiences. I know we have 3 counselors here, and if you are being a counselor and working with people and you want to sit with them, you can sit with them for a few days and get up to speed. Anyone that's out there being a practitioner are welcome to come in here and get clinicals and see how we do it in balance and how we run you from extreme, like this lady with diabetes, how we get her away from it instead of kill her. Only 22 years old. So it had to be type 1. That was a big mistake for that guy. He got a PhD from the Life Science Institute. Clayton College is a non-credited. Yeah, well, the medical doctor forgot to mention that there's no accreditation board for natural health. Thank you. There was one for a few years, but there's none. So how do we get accredited when there's none? See, allopathy made sure it suppressed us all the way and then write nasty letters like this. But I see why. I mean, this guy did a bad thing, no question about it. And I can't remember Kerry Reams and what he did. But I don't have problems like this. We don't play in these kind of worlds like this. Not accredited, but there's nothing accredited, my dear Stephen Barrett. The Life Science Institute was a correspondence school that was never accredited or linked. Just because you went to school, look what you went to school, Dr. Barrett, and look what you learned. Nothing. Nothing that's real. Can you cure anything? Not a thing. In the mid-90s, a Texas court prohibited it from marketing itself as a college and from granting academic credits or degrees. This was something like the Life Science Institute. Yeah. So, I wanted to read that to you, Jasmine. And the reason I wanted to read that to everybody there is to walk with balance and be smart about things. There's certain pharmaceuticals that support people right now in their blood sugars, blood pressures, but not near as meaningful. The other problem we have is the steroids. Because steroids suppress adrenal function. When you come off of them, it could whack you. You could blow up here lymphatically and everywhere else. Because remember, the adrenal glands controls the kidneys, which controls the lymphatic system. So whenever you shut down the adrenals, you shut down the kidneys, you shut down the lymph system, now you're in trouble. So I don't know if you shut them down, but you see what I'm saying? I've got to leave temporarily. I'd like to come back and do a lot more video. So I do appreciate this thing about the lungs. Now we got that's pretty good. Making blood cells, platelets. That's pretty cool stuff, But Pat was talking a lot about it, being an anatomy physiology professor, that she says virtually every day they're finding something new. So you can't get too locked in, and even you medical doctors, don't get too locked in on thinking you know what you think you know is truth and all that, because then you just make yourself look stupid. Same thing with us too, though. The same thing with this guy. This guy has to ride with the thought that he killed a 22-year-old. Now, when you compare that to how many deaths that the allopathy kills, look at an oncologist. He kills a lot of people. He might say it's all in the name of science and, these are life-saving chemotherapies and stuff, and that's all bow-faced lies. But chemotherapy is not life-saving, it's life-taking. So this is just bald-faced lies. The problem is that when you infuse this level into the government, then you have a government supposedly protection agency who is bought and paid for, the FDA, and who hates the natural health community and does everything it can to suppress us. After a while, you just create anger and, war. I don't know, that's why wars are fought. Because one suppresses another and everybody loses their rights, and after a while, people go to war over that. Can't we just learn how to not to do all those things and be more divine in our abilities? Not so much in the physical world here, guys, because you've got a lot of souls that's never been here, and if you've never been here, you're going to create some havoc. That's all I got to tell you. So, I don't know. That's enough to say, though. I love you guys, and I'll be right back. I'm going to go eat some lunch, and I'm going to come back and get into answering your Q&A here, but I guess I'm doing it in a way. These are special letters that came in through another source, and so I wanted to make sure I get up on those and get you all covered. I'm trying to get all these questions that is important for you guys to learn and know answered, because I want you to be a good representative of us, and that you can take anybody from Hellville to Wellville, that you can cure anything out there, any condition. Now, diseases, those are allopathically owned. Keep them, boys and girls. We're into reality. Love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in always. I know there's a lot of videos, and I love you guys. I appreciate you all for taking your precious time and learning. There's so much to learn, so much fun. And sometimes you bring out things that we never talked about, which is good. And I like talking about this blood sugar problem, because you never want to take anybody off of insulin or anything. Glucophage, macrophage, things like this. These are generally used at blood sugars below 150. Generally, people walk around with 150 pretty easily. In hospitals, we don't give maybe 5-10 units at 200 and above, just to give you some idea. But when you go on raw, your blood sugars are going to go like this. Now, when you're dealing with glucose, not so much. That's your type 1s. You got to be on the fructose, which doesn't require insulin. Then your blood sugars go right on down. Be careful if you're on insulin. Be careful. Take responsibility for your own actions. We as practitioners should have nothing to do with that. Only medical doctors who recommend it, and you as the one dispensing it to yourself. You must learn what you're dispensing to yourself, and how do I get off of this crap? How do I rebuild my islets of Langerhans? How do I rebuild the beta cells or the nervous system to the beta cells? Yeah. All right, well, we'll talk further when I get back. Love you guys. Let me see here. Yeah, this is from Phyllis. There wasn't a category. Yeah, so I used your question. I just saw this horror. Is there no end to the insanity? Yeah, FDA approves new eczema drug. Right. Ugh. Now listen to this. This is interesting. I've heard you talk about the parathyroid and that the only way to fix issues there is to detox because there are not any herbs specific to this gland. Not the herbs that I know of. But, well, you might be interested in this study I came across showing that the herb licorice, interesting, can enhance parathyroid function. That's very interesting. Very interesting to me. Because licorice is definitely an adrenal herb. It'll increase your blood pressure, which so many of you people know that that's important because so many have low blood pressure. You know, high blood pressure is really low blood pressure, if you think about it. Because you generally go low before you go high. Because weaknesses start to make things go down. But then the resulting effect, acids break things apart, but the resulting effect of that is agglomulation. It's the effect of acidosis and what that means to electrolytes and all that other kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm glad you sent this to me because, interesting. The problem with licorice is that I hate to put it in anything because we do have people out there with high blood pressures. And it does increase your blood pressure. So I took it out of the adrenal formula, but I add it on your protocols when your blood pressures are low. So I move from the adrenal 400 glandulars to the adrenal 200 glandulars to the adrenal herbal with licorice added. A dropper full or something. I love licorice root. Too bad the FDA doesn't like it because of what? A alkaloid? Yeah, right. These alkaloids are all buffered in herbs and work synergistically. If you're talking about a pharmaceutical alkaloid, that could be something totally different, like in, let's say the weight loss programs and stuff. Healthy women 22 to 26 years of age were given 3.5 grams of licorice a day for 2 months. At the end of the study, parathyroid hormone levels increased significantly. That's exciting because this is good. Good. So what I'm going to do is take the study you sent me, put it over there in the study box, and thanks. Now let's see where we are here. You know, we want to do a documentary. So if you guys will start filming your cases, film yourself from day one, just like writing a diary. A diary is always good. And look at Hildy's latest book. That's 3 books down. You guys can do the same exact thing. You don't have to be a literary genius to write a book. You want to talk to the folk. The problem with our educational system, you lose the ability to talk to the folk. You want to talk to the folk because that, after all, who dominates the planet is the folk. So, and simplicity is always key. So write a book on your experiences, about your journey and everything. People love stuff like that. And it helps to solidify what works in other people's minds because people don't have a clue that there's help out there for them. There's a ton of people with just misery and no help. Allopathy, they've been to many medical doctors. Where's your applied theory? And it's supposed to work, right? All right. Anyway, this lady is a professional and highly published writer. I am interested in proposing to you an idea of a book based on your client success stories. Yeah, thought about that. Would love to do a documentary on that as well. So I'll give this over, Pamela, to our staff to get a hold of you on that because it's a good idea. There's a tremendous amount of them. And guys, send in your testimonials. A lot of you are kind of timid to do that, and I read them once in a while, which is good. But it's always fun to see what all you guys have accomplished because this world needs to change a little anyway. Pick a doc's office. Oh. Hello, this beautiful Friday morning. Meg, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I suggest moving the pick. I know, it gives me rabbit ears. I know, and this is G. Thanks, man. But, yeah, I know. I didn't realize that, but when I put it off to the side, it looks kind of strange, too. So maybe I should talk to you, like, right here. We could do this. Yeah. Then I could be off to the side here. I'll just move my desk down. All right. No, I got that one. Now, this is from Justin. Well, it's spelled differently. Let me see. I stumbled across your videos a few weeks ago and my life has forever changed. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, man. You know what? I hope so because they'll change your lives in a couple of really good ways. The first one is health of the physical body. That, you can't beat that. You know, being riddled with pain and immobility and depression and unhappiness and anxieties all the time, that's no life. And I'm talking about the 20-year-olds. I mean, this is sad stuff what we've got going on this planet, and thanks to you beautiful people, you are now helping others, and it is vital. Look at the kids. And if you guys saw what we had coming in here, that's depression. There's so much suffering and misery on this rock. It's not even funny. So all these people and all this ego and all these touting these theories that never applied, never work, ours does. Because it's in total accord with truth and the Godhead. Everything is the way nature plans it. Just look around. Observation sometimes teaches you a lot more than academics. You know, academics is learning what other people think. Who cares? Get your own thoughts. Get your own discoveries, your own world. Hard to when you use the mind, because the mind actually butt up against other thoughts. All the mind is a computer that categorizes, rationalizes, or tries to compare and, sift through and all that sort of thing. It's not conscious of itself. So, thank you for that. You're truly God sent. No, thanks. Thankfully, I am not critically ill. But definitely will benefit from some serious cleansing. And that's the thing. You bring up a good point. Get yourself done before you do. Because when you wake up with tumors popping and lymph nodes swollen and all this, you're in trouble. And it probably took you a lot of years to get there. And this is part of the problem that people don't realize. Excuse me. When you see a lymph node swelling, it probably took years and years and years to get to that point, to where the stagnation exists all the way back to the kidneys. Years. And some of you, of course, are born through mamas that have very bad lymph systems, and so you come packing with bad lymph systems. And it's like, but it's all can be dealt with. It all can be remedied, and it can all be gotten rid of with the proper focus. And it's the proper focus. When anybody argues with this, have them bring their scientific data up, because we're getting piles of it on our side. So have them give you some scientific studies that are valid. There's a lot of studies. Remember, in the Science News, tried to duplicate some of these oncology studies that are out there and couldn't. Meaning they were both crap. They were made up. Oh, horrible. I write to you for a broader purpose. Being a holistic nutrition student, I intend to start a clinic in South Africa. Love it, love it, love it. Now, we almost got one in South Africa. Now, having discovered your work, I plan to base my practice around the deep healing powers of fast fruits and detoxing, and you will be the happiest person on this planet. And one of the reasons is because you will be able to look at your efforts and go, I made that person well. I helped that person overcome tumors and the C word, or whatever you want to call their side of that. Yeah, I helped push that person out of a wheelchair. See, that's where, not on the narcissistic side, but on the, God, I actually am worth something. I actually can get something done here on the planet. Instead of just playing in the fields of dreams, I can contribute to the whole of the growth of creation, to the divine. Yeah, I can help my fellow man, woman, be well and happy. So when we're all well and happy, it makes for a nice place. South Africa is just beaming with amazing fruit, I know, and vast open spaces to create orchards, greenhouses, and herb farm. Oh, I know, I read this before. Until I set up, I would love it if I can start to work with you to develop the herbal formulations you currently sell locally here in South Africa, using predominantly local herbs. The cost of shipping and indeed our product itself will be too high for most South Africans, and that's the problem. Here's some of the problems. And I don't care what country you're in. You have to realize that we have to, of course we have labs now, because we can't do it ourselves. But I used to do it in the kitchen. But you've got to get the right organic herbs from the right farmers, the right sources. Of course, you got to understand how to use them, but then you also have to understand how to put them and make them into tincture forms and stuff. And all this requires expertise, knowledge. I'm more of a clinical herbalist, so my knowledge of the preparation and distillation and all this is minimal, because your distillation time for leaves and flowers are much different than those for roots and tubers. And you'll see that in your teas. If you're going to make yourself a nice light tea, like a flower tea of some sort, chamomile or something, you don't need to steep it very long, because flowers give you their love real quick. Leaves are a little longer to take, but roots and tubers a lot longer. So we tend to boil the roots and tubers for 5 minutes or so. But you don't even need to boil the leaves and flowers. It's just, keeping. But when you're setting up an operation, there's a lot to it. Plus, you've got to buy. See, people think we're expensive, but when you stop to look at what we have to do and pay for getting the product, it suddenly becomes. Because if anybody is stressed, it's the one paying our bills. That's Jennifer. Because we order hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of herbs at a time. And that, I don't care what you think, that's stressful. I'm an old farm boy. And so you got to have a great press. And I like our 55-ton press. I like big presses. But you've got all kinds of expenses, from the alcohols to, you got all kinds of expenses involved. Bottles, droppers, labels. Then you've got all kinds of stuff involved in preparing and putting together the product. So there's an X amount of money you just can't get away from. You just can't get away from it. And if you want any profit to grow and to buy more herbs and stuff, you got to add a little. Then you got shipping and handling. And you might have 2 or 3 people at $15, $20 an hour shipping, and your order takes 2 hours to put together. So your order takes 2 hours to put together. So we have a lady that answers the phone. She gets $20 an hour, let's say. Then you've got, she has to, or he, they're all women really. So they all take the orders. They've got to process and get that all ready, take it down to the order department. Another dude down there, they get everything ready, pull the orders and everything else. So you're talking 2, 3, 4 hour involvement per order. At $20 an hour, that's $60. Now, what do we charge for shipping and handling? $3, $4. See what I'm saying? When you're really looking at the actual expense of things, and you've never been in business for yourself, sometimes you look at people and think, oh, they're making all kinds of money. Yeah, but you have to look at that, because you have to also understand that as you grow, you got to buy more herbs to grow. So, with my profit, I just put it into buying more herbs. Can't buy the same herbs for the same amount of money. I got to have more money to buy more herbs, and so that's where it gets you. The other part that gets you, and I'm one of the few that do, is offer wholesale. I offer wholesale because I am here for the God thing. I want everybody to wake up to truth so we don't have a suffering planet so much. And it reverbs back to the Godhead, believe it or not. So everything is expensive. And then, of course, shipping is a killer, but of course you can't afford to pay for that for people. So it's just in every way, shape, or form, it's a killer. And we've kept our prices down as everybody raises it on us. Oh yeah, our lab always raises it on us. And so we keep eating that, and you just at a point that you can't eat it anymore, or you can't get your message out to people. So no matter what country I go into and take the herbs, you're going to have a lot of expenses. It's not what you think. The easiest way to do that would be encapsulation, if you can get a good encapsulator. But you could get, you got to have mixers and powders. You have to have some equipment, and that's expensive. Then you have to have bottlers and laborers, or you have to hire people to bottle, count them or weigh them, bottle them, blow, burn the labels on them. I mean, there's a lot of work, and somebody's got to do it. So you have to pay that person to sit. Before, I had to pay a person to bottle, to label, hand label. I hand labeled everything, because a set of equipment to bottle and label is around $100,000 if you can find one at a discount. It's about $100,000 to buy, I think, one assembly line, which you would need several. It's expensive. That's part of the problem. So teas, better, because you can get mixers, not that expensive, and you can dry your herbs and mix them, but you generally buy dried herbs. But you can do that and then make a tea, and teas are very powerful too. Or you can eat them raw. You know, grind them up, make a powder out of it, put that powder in your drinks or something. There's ways to take these things to get around some of the expenses of them. But you can't entirely, nothing is ever free. Everything costs. Everything. It's amazing how much. Staggering. That's why I don't handle that side of it, because I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I wouldn't be able to handle it. I can't handle being in debt and stuff. Holy crap. Whew. So, I'm trying to address that from a broader way of thinking about it, because you have to understand there's a lot to this. And believe me, and there's only a few labs in the world that do this. Good ones. So it's a trip. You know, it's a trip, let me tell you. It's a trip. And I've got, what, 100 and some formulas or something? It's a trip. And all the boxes and everything else you got. I mean, it's a trip. And then you have to have literature and stuff. It's just a never-ending money story. Literatures, brochures. I mean, you can't believe the amount of paper stuff we have to buy and have just from that. I mean, it's staggering when you get up and you see what a big company needs to be involved in. So, but I get you. And if there's any way I can help, you know, for sure. Let me see here. Sadly, so many are people falling victim to first world choices and habits and therefore diseases. It's happening at a frightening rate. Yeah, I'm telling you, it is at a frightening rate, my friend. It is. These babies are dropping like flies at a frightening rate. Our babies. I'm like Trump. Babies, you don't mess with the babies. Yep. You don't mess with the babies. The problem is genetics. You don't get a new body when you come here. No. Oh, you get a genetic imprint. Oh, you get a mutated body. But for you to fix your body, your genetic weaknesses, and to get your world turned around, it'll make you grow and enter the God zone. It will allow you to increase your journey. It'll allow you to make your journey far greater. You want to think about that. Do you want a return ticket to this planet? Or would you rather go to some place where the trees flash beautiful colors, the flowers are emanating and vibrating colors and smells? Would you rather go someplace like that? The beauty is nirvanic. The beings are humble and loving. The cities have jeweled gates and jeweled fences-like things around them. I mean, it's just different places in the God worlds are just the middle worlds. The buildings are like you can't even see the top of them. I mean, it's unreal what's out there. So, wouldn't it be nice just kind of be ability to just grow and experience and travel, and not just here. Actually, by the time you're aware of that, it is time for you to know that anyway. You know that, don't you? All right. Until I set up, I would love. Okay. You can come here and sit with the counselors if you want. You currently sell locally. Okay. Do let me know if you can lend your expertise to the project. Oh, absolutely, we can help you as much as we can. Absolutely, would love to do that. All right, let me give this back, and then we'll get a hold of you and see what we can do. Because I think we ought to get healing centers all around the world. That's been my big goal, is to have healing centers all around the world. And they're just detox centers. If the rest of the world doesn't get with detox, okay. Those that will enjoy and rejoice in the beauty of love, happiness, health. Those not, suffer. Boy, cute babies. Oh, 11-month-old babies. Oh, looky here. Look, we got a couple little babies. Is that cute? Get away from Description: vegetarian liquid formula, natural product, quality products, rich in iron and B vitamins, easy absorbed, non-constipating, yeast, gluten-free. What is this? Below is a picture of the nutritional content of Floridex, Floravital, and here's a direct link if you want to check it out yourself. Yeah, I think I will. Warning: important, do not contaminate the formula by drinking directly from the bottle. Ingredients: grape juice, pear juice, blackcurrant juice, water, cherry juice, blackberry from concentrate. Sounds like a good formula. You know, that's the problem with my formula is I've had to cut it down, cut it down, cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. It's just too nutritional. I mean, can you believe something can be too nutritional? Absolutely can be. Absolutely can. So let's see. This is Danielle. Hi, sweetheart. Got some nice babies. You know, when you think of what some of these babies are born with and what they have to go through, I just think of the individual consciousness behind there and how locked that makes them. And it's just, I am so thrilled to say that I have recently learned of your works, and I thank you for everything you do. Oh, thanks, Mom. My mother-in-law belongs to your club and has given us some of your herbal products. Good mother-in-law. I like good mother-in-laws and good mothers and everything else, you know. After all, we have to protect ourselves. We all have to work together and protect ourselves from the evil ones, because obviously people are out there to hurt people. I don't know. Herbal products for our 11-month-old twin girls when they've had diaper rash fungal issues. Now, diaper rash. Remember that? I mean, we talked a lot about diaper rash. What side of chemistry? Because remember, you can always go to chemistry each and every time. All right? So, which side of chemistry caused the diaper rash? Oh, every one of you got it right. Acids, of course. I mean, come on. But that's urine. And stool to some degree. Absolutely. So, you know, waste, but you can understand why all byproducts are acids. Because you need that continual breakdown to get to the atomic structure again. This isn't an atom rearrangement world. This isn't a bring in new building material world. You can't bring in new building material. Unfortunately, this is a world where you have to tear down and rebuild. I did that once. I built a new house and tore it down and used the material out of it for another one, and don't even ask me why. And I just built the house. They work like nothing else, thanks. I hope so, because I love my herbs. I have always had that knack to put together the right formulas. I don't think I put formulas where I've had to work them and work them and work them. Basically, that's the blends. Like the baby formula is giving me a fit because it's just too nutritious. I don't want to create gorillas out there. But Aaron is one of them. My partner, the girl's father, was born and raised vegan. Oh, that's neat. That's pretty neat. You know, you younger people, that you're going to see that. You're going to be raised by raw food parents or vegan parents. That's exciting. That's exciting. I was raised farm eating. Now, some of it was fresh vegetables, no question. We had a lot of fresh vegetables, so I'm not bitching about that. But meat and milk and sugars, wow. You want to get the fungus out of them too. A little drop of parasite in their stuff. Now, 11 months old. And that's the whole point, because we're going to also get up for you the length of time that mothers nurse. Because human babies are nursing too long, and they're getting lymphatically congested because of it. So, you know, plenty of time. Most of the ladies around here that have babies have their babies on fruit at 3 months to 4 months old, guys. So, a year is plenty of time. You know, if you look in nature, the milk journey is short. And we must remember that. But we have the milk industry, the Dairymen's Association, who would love to tell you that there's nothing wrong with that crap, and that have yourself a nice little white whisker, and that builds bones. But the studies say no. The studies actually show that milk drinking takes calcium away from you. Why? It's acidic. When you pasteurize milk, you just bonded the chemistry like nobody's been. So first of all, you couldn't break the calcium out of it. Second of all, it's acidic and depletes the body of calcium. How interesting. But raw milk is greatly forbidden in this country. The FDA has closed down and been mean. Matter of fact, a dairy farmer was on the news talking about, they said I couldn't even drink my own milk. And I'm saying, bull crap. You come to my farm and you tell me I can't drink, if that's what I'm into, you're on the wrong property. That's the problem with warriors. We don't take crap. Some unreal. All right, where are we going here? I even met my partner that if I had children that they would not be vaccinated and they would be on a whole food. I'm telling you, these are just smart people. Smart people. Remember that vaccination lies and lies. And the millions of kids with seizures and ADD and all types of neurological problems, comprehension problems. For what? Money, guys. It's only one reason to use pharmaceuticals. If they're lost in their pseudo thinking that it saved the world, they're lost in their own narcissism. Vaccinations actually cause major problems in humans. Oh, well. I'm just going to cut right to my question. Good. Because I feel very unsure of how to handle our issue. We recently discovered that one of my girls, Ember, is severely anemic. All right? She had a fall on 2/13/17, which resulted in an ER visit. I took her the following morning because she seemed like she was in a lot of pain, and I wanted to be sure nothing was broken. Well, I don't blame you. You know, ERs are supposed to be a friendly, nice place to go. You know, these guys are set to help you, to stabilize you. Now, a lot of them don't understand detox and the fact that so many of them don't find anything, even though people are full of pain and detox. This is a fall. But still, don't ever be afraid to go to the emergency room. Just be smart with what you will take and won't take with what they want to give you. Just be smart. Well, when we arrived at the hospital, she had a fever of 101. And they were quite concerned. Oh my God, your daughter had 101. Oh my God, your daughter, that makes me sick to my stomach. Your daughter at 11 months probably could get up to 103, 104. Probably. These young babies love high fevers. And don't freak out about them because high fever is high fever. But it allows them to sweat. It allows the largest eliminative organ to function. And what one is that? The skin. The skin. I've ran babies with detox for years and years and years, and a lot of them love 104, 105. So I keep them cool to 103. Big deal. You don't kill your cells till about 107, 109. But they freak out with fevers, and it's like one of the biggest mistakes medical doctors make is to break a fever. And when you're in a health modality, you're claiming you're in a health modality, you're claiming you're a healthcare practitioner as a medical doctor, then you know what fevers are for and that they're vital to have. If you don't know that, you're not a healthcare practitioner. See what I'm saying? You can't hold philosophies of harm and not understanding how nature works, understanding chemistry and all that for pharmaceutical world and claim you're a healthcare practitioner. Give me a break. Talk about quack train. Whew. Man, these guys are so full of themselves. I just can't believe it sometimes. The girls have been teething, and have had intermittent fever, so I don't think a whole lot of it, and I wouldn't either. And if you do, it's their lymphatic system too. So just detox and put them on a fruit diet. Cool them down, that'll cool them down, that'll get all the acids out, everything will go down to normal again. That's all you got to do. If you got babies that get a fever, just detox them. Just put them on a fruit diet. You don't even have to give them herbs. Put them on a fruit diet. If you put them on herbs, look at the dosages. They're drops now instead of droppers. And you only need 2 or 3 little drops per thing, but same thing with adults. These are little adults. You got kidneys, adrenals, GI tract. Not 11 months. I'm only going to use, say, lymphatic 1 drop. Kidney number 1, 2 or 3 drops. I might use parasite M to help them with their fungus, a couple of drops. I might do the endocrine gland formula to bump up their endos, a couple of drops. Those are all berries. So that's all nutritious. Extremely. All these herbs are nutritious. They're all full of nutrition. It's not like we cook them and kill the nutrition out of them. So they're all loaded with goodies. Good stuff. Nobody's starving. Unless you're malabsorbed. And of course, nobody created that but you. But then you didn't know how you created that because no one talks about that. And no one talks about why or what is malabsorption. And why is there excessive thinness in our world. It's not pleasant to look at excessive malabsorption and thinness, but how do you fix it? You just eat a bunch of food? See, that's the problem. The thinking is very pseudo, very, very light. I mean, there's no real meat to man's thinking. So this mother's doing everything I think that she should. But if the baby's you're saying they're anemic. So we're looking at red blood cells. We're looking at hemoglobin, hematocrit. What are you looking at to say that? You could use a little liver gallbladder formula, a drop or 2. Okay? You want to work on your baby's health. The lymphatic system is the key system to work on first because it will relieve all the other systems. That's the key. But that system includes the endocrine glands. You could add that. The GI tract in its own way. So you can clean up your babies quite well. Now remember iron. All right? People go where when you think of iron? Liver gallbladder, right? Right. I want you to think somewhere else to go to. And if your daughter's dealing with iron problems, you might think of this one first. The adrenal glands. Why? Steroids, iron metabolism. And if your iron is low, it could not be nothing to do with the liver gallbladder. It could be your adrenal glands, her adrenal glands. And in today's world, in these young babies, definitely adrenals. I don't have a close enough picture to look at the eyes to see if I've got kidneys going on here or not, but are they cute? All right, the doc came, let me see here, it's a common thing for babies to get them and means their little immune systems are doing their job. Well, without talking your ear off, we ended up having her blood checked, which is always a good thing to do. So now you can look at the creatinine levels, you can look at the liver enzymes, you can look at some of these things that'll give you a clue. So let's see what she's got. Oh, you're looking at the hemoglobin and stuff like that. Get the adrenals set up, clean the liver gallbladder, get the lymphatic system moving, and everything will change on you. Hemoglobin, that's why. I haven't had her sister's blood tested, but I'm sure she's in the same boat. They're both very pale. Heck, breastfeeding for almost a year and not eating enough constantly, I'm sure I'm also some level of anemic as well. It's not what you eat as much as it is what you digest, absorb, utilize. Remember those 4 processes, guys, whenever you're working on yourself. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I've been talking. But it kind of shows you that breastfeeding didn't help the anemia, did it? So you want to go back and think about some of this stuff. And so it's a good time to get them on their fruits. And berries. Berries are so rich in flavonoids and goodies. I mean, these are all good stuff. So you need to put your babies on fruits, berries, melons. And that'll start cleaning and making everything come up. But I would give them a little jot with maybe a drop or two of liver, gallbladder, the kidneys, go down that road. I'm extremely fatigued most of the time. So it's adrenals, I'm telling you. You've got adrenals that's fatigued all the time like that. If they have fungus, can make you more fatigued on top of weak adrenals. So what's your blood pressure, honey? I can't recall things easy. Yeah, you know what? And this is, and I'm going to guess you're in your 30s or 20s. I mean, this is what we're facing. Can you imagine if you're 20 years old and you can't remember things properly, what it's going to be like when you're my age or you're in your 40s or 50s? I mean, I've said this years ago. We're heading for 30, 40, and 50-year-old dementia cases and Alzheimer's cases. And I tell you, we can stop that. We, all of us together, can stop this and educate this planet. Except for those that just can't get past their egos. Okay, go play in your fields of dreams. Leave us alone. Like I was never one of those that would replace their glasses, wallet, phone, etc. I know it's a regular. I also chalked it up to extremely incompetent sleep patterns, the unusual. Okay. My real question is about the girls. Of course, the doctor / med staff were super concerned for a fever and a low hemoglobin. Most people have a low hemoglobin anyway, and hematocrit. Almost everybody has that a little off. And now it's a regular, let me see here. And I could tell that they were scared for Ember. Scared for her? For what? The doctor prescribed iron drops. See what I'm saying? Go to her adrenal glands. Work on her adrenal glands. If you want iron supplements, take the liver gallbladder formula. The barbarous family is nothing but iron. Herbs for the liver are all high iron herbs. But to take iron as an isolate, wouldn't do it. Wouldn't touch it. Plus, this could give them real constipation and everything else. I wouldn't touch it. No way. I wouldn't. But you can get iron through a lot of sources. But are you utilizing the iron out of your foods? That's the question. See, it's not about how much you take. It's how much you utilize. How much you digest, how much you absorb, and how much you utilize. Well, utilization, we're going where? I need hormones and steroids. Where am I going? Utilization requires hormones and steroids. Where am I going? The endocrine glands. Predominantly, which ones? The adrenal glands. They produce about 25 mineral corticosteroids needed in the utilization of minerals. Hello. Part of the direction of how the body directs itself. So when you're low in chemistry, check the adrenals out, because the mom is highly fatigued, which tells me adrenals. And it just makes sense in today's world and what we see in actual clinical work, of course. She said that this is an iron supplement, that this is iron replacement. What? You got to be careful with medical doctors and what they say. This is an iron supplement. It isn't an iron replacement. It's an iron supplement. She needs to get her iron out of her fruits, berries, and melons. And she needs to utilize that. But she needs good adrenal power to do that. And that's why I'm saying, on all your babies, guys, you have to work on kidneys, adrenals, and lymphatics. That's essential. The other essential is the nervous systems. That's horrible what's out there. Someone sent me a question about this. I happen to have one here. This is a homeopathic drawing salve. Someone asked me about that. I don't know. I've never used it. So use it and let me know. They want me to give her 0.7 milliliters 3 times a day. That's 15 milligrams of iron for 30 days. Very close to the amount that can cause iron poisoning. Thank you. You mothers and dads have to be very careful if you're listening to medical doctors, because they don't know health, they don't know nutrition, and they can hurt your babies, if not kill them. I mean, we're reading about that one naturopath that basically killed that one lady, fasting her without insulin. Medical doctors do that every day with people. They kill them every day, one way or another. So you want to be very careful, because it is about utilization. When you're looking at your stats in your body, what in your body is blocking the utilization of a constituent? And you're going to always go to the adrenal glands, or you're going to go to liver gallbladder. You're going to go to those two places primarily first. But where else would you go? How about intestinal interstitial spaces? Why? Absorption. You get lymph stagnation interstitially. That means around your cells, wherever it is. Doesn't mean it can be in the heart, it can be in the liver, it can be in the intestinal wall, it can be in your leg, it can be in your little toe. Remember, all your cells stand along, and these spaces that flow around them, interstitial. In those interstitial spaces are interstitial fluid. 20-25% blood, 70-75% lymphatic. Thank you. Yeah. Predominantly lymphatic fluids. What does that tell you? The lymph system is a much bigger system than the blood system. It's a major system of the human body. Yeah, and when I was pregnant with the girls, my midwife recommended that I drink Floradex. We sell Floradex in here, and I would use that. Predominantly the barbarous family of herbs. With this burdock, yellow dock, Oregon grapefruit. These are full of iron. Herbs. Oh yeah, great stuff. That's why I say a drop, 2 drops for your baby will not only help the liver gallbladder and the health of it, it'll give her plenty of iron. But remember, you must utilize iron. You must also absorb the nutrition. So you see where I'm going with this? Why you can't just say, oh, you're low in iron, here, take iron. You can't just do that. That's not a health care practitioner. That's someone with no brains. That's someone who's not in the field but wants to be. You can't just do that. You can't just give iron. Your mother brought up an excellent point here, guys. It's close to iron poisoning. Her medical doctor didn't know that, because she's not a healthcare practitioner. She's a medical doctor. A big difference. If you're a healthcare practitioner, you're going to be a naturopath at the very least, and considering most naturopaths are not being taught naturopathy. Now, this is a long, long letter. That's why I tend not to read the longer ones. No offense, but we've never taken the girl to a doctor because she had excellent postpartum care from my midwife. Good midwife. Midwives, these ladies and guys are something else, and that's just not the route we're choosing to go. I followed up a week after our hospital visit with a pediatrician who was recommended to me because their office accepts non-vaccinated babies. Thank you. And I thought for some reason that perhaps he would be more aligned with our line of thinking regarding health and not going to traditional Western route. You can hope. I have a couple of medical doctor friends that are truly holistic medical doctors, but basically a medical doctor is a medical doctor all the way friggin' through. They just can't seem to break that chain of treatment and diseases. You can't break that. And you got to break it. Or you can't, or you're worthless about helping people, because you're treating something that doesn't exist. You don't know what you're treating. And you must understand how the body works really, and the lymphatic system. If you can't study it in physiology, you can use your ability to understand and see outside of intellectualism. It doesn't have to be in a book to exist. I'm not sure why I thought that. No, because he was no, I tell you why you thought that. Because he takes non-vaccinated babies. But there's always a catch. We have several oncologists who claimed that they work with our clients, that we know what you're doing and we will work with them. We're not going to force them in chemo and all that, and we'll work with them. Right. One female medical doctor up there reamed my clients. Liars and everything else. I'm not sure why I thought that. He barely listened to me at all, I bet. See, this narcissism, these guys think they know it all. And I'm sorry for pounding on them, but if you don't pound on them, nothing's ever going to change. And look what we're facing. A world of hell. You realize what they're trying to do, don't you? I don't know if you guys realize that. This is a whole idea, because the pharmaceuticals are in with the World Bank. I mean, you have to understand that the whole idea is to get rid of natural health. And if some of this latest stuff they're trying to pass, they want you to go to medical doctors all the time, buy the pharmaceuticals. I mean, it is a locked field. Matter of fact, it was young conservative Republicans, I think, and they were on a Tea Party channel, and somebody showed me, and they broke this down, showing the agenda that these people have, meaning you have no choices left whatsoever. You just walk right in, vaccinated or get whatever, walk right out. Robots. You know what? That's not going to happen in this world. I can tell you. It's just not going to happen. It won't allow it. But 5 minutes later, he was asking me if they're getting red meat. Here we go. Here we go. So frustrating. I would have told him, yeah, hell yeah. You know, if they're liars, we might as well be. No, I'm just kidding. I asked him if he had ever heard of Floridex, and he said no. He's not a healthcare practitioner. He's a medical doctor. So maybe he's using that hook, line, and sinker of, I take non-vaccinated babies, and I won't say anything. Right. He said, that's a good-looking label. And that was about all. Oh my God. He told me to use the ferrous sulfate, but to do 0.5 3 times a day. Oh, a little lower. Look at that shit. He said iron replacement is usually done for up to 3 months. I left feeling pretty frustrated. Well, you know what? It's a frustrating world. It's a frustrating modality, because it's so narcissistic it can't get out of its own way. And I say that, and I love you all, medical doctors. I love you guys. I love all of you guys, but you got to change what you're doing. You're part of the problem, a part of the solution. Become part of the solution. Join us. Matter of fact, we have one here that's not only a medical doctor, she's an anatomy physiology professor. So if you like to dissertate anything like that, have fun with her. Woo! I thought I knew the body. Wow. Okay. I read that absorption rate is different from both. Yeah, see, here's another thing. This, I have to tell you, Danielle, you're one smart woman. You're one smart woman. This, smart, I could change that to aware, spiritual, all these things. Because listen to this. She's even thought of the absorption of iron and how that affects you. That's pretty smart. Now, there's a problem with this, and it's a problem with their thinking and what the mama hit right on the head. Absorption or not. All right? The one missing link is the adrenal glands and your steroid for iron utilization. And that's where you find most of the iron deficiencies. I read that absorption rate is different for both kinds of iron, the ferrous sulfate rate of absorption being much, much lower than ferrous glutamate. Don't like either one. My question is considering a possible difference in how much with I like Floradex. You know, forgive me, but because somebody tells you something, that doesn't mean you have to listen. The problem is that they think they have jurisdiction over your babies and they can call child services. So the less you see, they're forcing people not to confide in them anymore. They're ostracizing people. It's like oncology, forcing you into chemo. So they're forcing the surgeons, they're actually forcing the surgeons out of a lot of business because we have thousands of ladies that need surgery that can't get it because they refuse chemo and radiation. So, you know, it's a vomitous place right now. And it's you guys that is making it all better. With your love and your joy and you're helping others and you're learning truth and you're opening up your spiritual wisdom and you guys will be the key group to change the planet. And you know, and you mothers are getting smart. I love it. You mothers have to get smart because they're hurting your babies. And you can't, just like the mom. The ER doc wanted to give them so much iron, it was right next to the poisoning level. Yow! And of course, iron's very constipating. Be careful there. I would use the Floradex myself, and I'd probably use, your babies are 11 months old. I can see the weight there. I'd probably use 3 drops. You could call the company and ask them, but I think 3 drops, boom, 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 is enough in their juice because you want to get them off of milk now. If you're still breastfeeding, end it, because you need to get your babies on down the road and fix these weaknesses they have and be done with that and go on. I know how to adequately administer enough Floradex, perfect, to get her hemoglobin and iron stores back up, and that's just what I would do. If it's my baby and some medical doctor is telling me to give some supplement that can have, you know, poisoning effects, iron is a dangerous to give by itself as an isolate. I wouldn't listen to them. Who cares what they think? Who cares what they say? Your baby, not theirs. And they're not health care practitioners. Unless your baby has a disease, then you have the right to work with them. Isn't that funny? You have the right to work with your own kids. Does that turn your grits? It's okay to give her the same total 22 milligrams of iron, or are we risking poisoning her? 3 to 4 drops. Look, look, look. And one for good luck. Look, that's all you need. Matter of fact, this is an old letter. I better get... This is March 6th. This is a month old. Well, this will get up for you. This will get up for you. Is there a better option or suggesting even for the additional iron supplement? Work on the adrenal glands. Should I get her sister's blood tested? Unless you know, I don't know how to say this without making the rest of the world feel like, but the less you invoke the medical community off, the healthier and the better you'll be. Is that not sad to say? If someone said that about me, my head would drop in despair, and I would say, what am I doing wrong? Let me change it. I'm hurting people instead of helping people. How can I change that? I think part of the problem is medical doctors do not see the effect of what they do. We see the effect because all you guys are coming in here. So we see the effect. For 40-some years I've seen the effect, and I've worked in hospitals for a lot of years. So I see firsthand what's going on. I've studied medical work. I've taken tests for years and everything you can imagine. So I'm pretty up on all that. All right, so we decided for the time being, I'm skipping through some of this and I apologize, but we decided, because I can't get on to anybody else, we decided for the time being to do our best to give them at least 20 milliliters each day with Floridex, that's what I would do, to 20 milligrams of iron per day. So 20 milligrams of iron, I just think that's a little too bit. I would do drops of iron. Hi, sweetheart. We're talking about iron supplements for babies. This medical doctor recommended iron supplements, and we're talking about how bad that is. We got one smart mom with a couple of nice little babies.
Awesome. Can I talk with you for a second?
Yeah. Okay. You need to turn that off?
Oh, I haven't got their permission to talk about it, so maybe just to pause.
Okay. I thought it was probably important that you hear this since we're talking about healthcare practitioners versus medical doctors. This is a case where an individual had a spot on the lungs and pancreas, or just on the pancreas?
She had it on the lungs, and then it showed a tiny spot on the tail, the tail of the pancreas.
So they talked her into, so those little spots are easy to remedy, and all of us have little spots in us. Come on. So they talked her into chemo and radiation, right? A year later, she has, of course, spots on her pancreas, and they went into surgery, right?
They did another round of radiation, and they told her that they could take just the tail of the pancreas off.
And she bought that, right?
So
they gave her another round of radiation. They told her that they could just remove that little piece of the tail on the pancreas. And what did they end up doing? When she's under the knife, this is what they did to her.
Sorry, this got me upset.
Yeah,
they removed a portion. They removed her spleen. They removed a portion of the stomach, a portion of the colon, the gallbladder. They took her left adrenal and the tail of the pancreas. They tested everything, and they said that everything was negative except for the tip of the pancreas. So they took out her left adrenal for no reason. They took out her spleen for no reason. They took out part of the stomach, part of the colon, and they removed her gallbladder for no reason. And she's doesn't know if she's going to make it.
She can make it. All right. You just tell her she has to be 100%.
She can't even hardly digest any food whatsoever. She's down to 89 pounds.
Jesus Christ.
She especially can't, of course, grains and vegetables. But she's even have a hard time with the fruits.
Does she? Well, she's going to have to go there, though. She's going to have to stay, do a lot of applesauce with cinnamon to help the digestion.
I know we've seen tonsils regrow.
Yeah.
I know we've seen thyroids
She can regrow some of those tissues, if not all of them, but you have to be 100% raw to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how that goes. But she'll go after her.
Yeah.
Tell her don't lose faith.
Yeah.
Don't lose faith. She's got her kidneys. She's got everything
a great
else.
Deal of faith.
Don't tell her that because she's got, these tissues,
yep.
She can still live. We can regenerate. Whatever can grow back can grow back. And
well, I told her raw fruits are her best choice because they digest quickly.
That's the only,
they have their own enzymes. And in that paper I showed you, we don't have to hardly use enzymes when we're eating a raw fruit.
That's the point. That's the point. We've never talked about that too much here. But you see how these cases can get disturbing on you? And then we've been talking about a lot of things today. And then one of them is this sort of thing where
I'm just livid. I am absolutely livid.
Another medical doctor who thought his narcissism would rank, and there was nothing wrong with those tissues.
Yeah.
We've heard this story all the time.
And they never even did the biopsy on the original spot that they found.
No! You just tell her from me that she'll be okay. You tell her to keep her spirits up, stay on the fruit.
And I already told her to ask to have restored what the negative forces took.
Exactly. Get aligned with a God, you know. And that adrenal gland, we might be able to use a glandular and help. I'm sure there's some stem cells around, and you've got another adrenal gland right across the street.
I know she's thin, but I'm going to have her start doing some dry fasting once
she's
a week.
malabsorbed, though. She might need that dry fast just for 24, 36, just to get those kidneys to filtrate. Then you're going to get her much faster.
Well, plus the production of those stem cells, too, to help.
Don't forget the other thing. She's been radiated the hell out of. So she has to deal with the blowback from the radiation yet. But if she stays all fruit and all that, she'll pull all that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to realize that.
But I wanted to share that with you.
We have a world of butchery.
Yeah.
We're just talking about that. Freaking medical doctors here with babies and everything else, and they call themselves healthcare practitioners, and they're not healthcare practitioners.
One of the reasons of getting this message out is just so that we know going into a hospital or a doctor's office what to say yes to, what to say no to.
No kidding.
You know what? If you're going under the knife, if I ever have to go under the knife for whatever reason, I am having them
Write
sign,
it out.
this is what you do and nothing else.
Isn't that sad? She woke up with half her guts removed.
I just spoke with a couple of people last week. The same thing happened. While they were under the knife, they did more than what they were supposed to.
Christ.
I've got a lady freaking out. She needs to have something removed, a tumor removed. She's scared to death. She's afraid they're going to take out more than
Yeah,
what
see, that we were talking about that too. About you never know. They just more and more and more. It gets worse, worse, worse. And it's like one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. Pretty soon you're dead. It's like, oh, yeah, I know it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came in and talked about that. You tell her from me.
I will.
We'll work on her and
I
she'll
will.
be okay. She just has to eat strict. She has to be an Islander girl. And it should be okay.
She'll like that.
Yeah.
Be an Islander girl.
Yeah, be an Islander girl.
All right. Bye, guys.
Ugh, that makes me sick too. Ugh. That's what we're getting around here. And when these guys sit there and they flaunt their narcissism and they're doing this to their people, it's disgusting. And there wasn't any atypical cells. There wasn't any what they call cancer cells. And now she's devoid of a spleen, a left adrenal, a gallbladder. What the hell was that guy thinking? I'll tell you, it's sickening what's out there. What Marcy said is important. That's why we're educating you guys. Get educated. Know what you're doing. If you have to go under the knife, it's possible for one reason or another. You broke your leg, you did this, you did that, who knows? But if you're going in for some diseases, you be very careful. It's just like what's going on with this baby. It'll lead to one thing after another, and pretty soon they'll have the baby sick. I mean, it's just these guys don't know how to work with the rhythm of nature, and the rhythm of chemistry, the rhythm of physics. You've got to work with the rhythm of these. You don't make toxic drugs that kill people and hurt people. I mean, the percentage of death rates are probably only, 3 to 6% in most pharmaceuticals as a guess. If it's any more, FDA needs to go to jail tomorrow. Should be going tomorrow anyway. But 3% is way too much. Let's say you have, which is, say, a statin, and you have 10 million people worldwide on a statin and 3% fatal events. How many people's that? What's 3% of 10 million people? Staggering? You don't think of it until you start multiplying the numbers on it. Yeah. All right, sweetheart. I know that you are very busy. Yeah, I'll get this. Thanks, Danielle. I hope you called in. Here's a recent photo of our little ladies. That's a proud mama, for sure. They are cute little ladies. The cute little ladies. Be careful with your cute little ladies. Start working on them now. And I recommend this to all you parents. Go after your kids now. Go after your kids now. Get them well. Get them healthy. No matter what you see. Learn about fevers. Learn that fevers are a natural effect of nature. And that it's essential to have a fever because it trips up what? The largest eliminative organ you have, dubbed as the body's third kidney, and we call that the skin. Integumentary system. Emmanuel, dear sir, name's Robert. Seems awful formal, dear sir. Sounds like a nice formal guy, you know. I am on kidney transplant awaiting list in France. A retroperitoneal sarcoma of 18 kilos was removed from my belly. Wow, August 09. I did 3 by 6 days chemo. Holy crap. They removed left kidney. The right is HS, no more gallbladder. 1/2 of pancreas is gone. Oh, here's another one. Less diaphragm and less sigmoid. Oh, I guess they removed part of the diaphragm and part of the sigmoid colon. Well, see, that's when you got to realize it just shows you that we're talking about the lymphatic system, and it shows you that it's a systemic system. That when it's down all over the place. It's down in the spleen, it's down in the heart, it's down in the lungs. Where you have genetic weaknesses, it's down 50-fold. So you're in more trouble in your genetic weaker areas than you are in your other areas. And this is what happens. Will I be able to follow your diet without risk after transplant? I think you ought to do it right now and try not to have a transplant. What? Unless you already have. You mean that they're going to try to transplant the kidney they removed? Or the only one you have left? I would repair the one I have left and regenerate it. Kidneys hate proteins, and you want to be on fruits, berries, and melons if you want to regenerate kidney tissue. And I'd be on 2 kidney formulas at the very least, and I'd probably also use a kidney glandular for 1 bottle. That's kidney tissue for 1 bottle. Just to wake up the tissue a little bit. Get your kidneys filtering. That's going to create some dry fasting needs. What advices can you give for someone with no immune system? Well, you've got an immune system, but you let them take out a lot of crap out of you, a lot of tissue. But it's like that lady here. It's not a death sentence, but you want to fix the problem. It's time to fix the problem instead of removing the effect, right? Does that make sense? It makes sense if it's you, because it's you and you're in this non-healthcare practitioner who's a medical doctor says, well, I'm going to have to take your spleen, your liver, your heart, It's like, oh, really? You're going to take everything, huh? And it's all fixable. But if you had it removed, it's still fixable. Isn't that the blessing of the divine? That your body can still halfway work on half of the tissues in it? Amazing stuff. But you want to be on 100% raw food. Whenever you're like this, it's always, and has been in my world for 45 years. I'm 45 years now in the health field. And I am a healthcare practitioner, not a medical doctor. Thank you. Oh, God. But this gentleman can fix himself, and you just have to get on 100% raw fruits, berries, and melons, and let the magic begin. Go through the detox, get your one, if you've got 1 kidney that's halfway working, fix it. Fix it. And the only way you can fix a kidney is with herbs and the proper foods, because the proper foods either heal you or break you down. If we translate that concept into chemistry, then the chemistry would be base alkaline chemistry heals, acid chemistry deteriorates. As a rule. Now, I'm only saying that as a rule because there are beneficial acids. No question about it. There are. And there's some alkalis that'll rip you apart. So, understand that's in context. Okay? All right. Oh, this is from Anna. Hello, Anna. I'm about to do my first 40-day juice fast. I did 6 months oranges, and some of these guys, we had a lady do 300 and some days vegetable juices. We've had somebody do 2 or 3 years fruits. I mean, we've had some people really hang it out there, boy. But 40 days, nice little fast. Good way to go for spiritual and health reasons. Good deal. I have done regular weekly fasting for 5 months now, always once, sometimes more. Try dry fasting too, just 24 hours, 36 hours. A week doing just water or some juice. I'm vegan and about 75% raw. Try 100%. You guys want to get to 100% raw. If you haven't made it yet, keep going. Try to make 100% raw and see what that feels like. You got to do it. You got to feel 100% raw to feel the difference. And try to keep that for a month or so. And then go out and have you some cooked food. You tell me how you feel. You tell me. Now, it doesn't have to be me telling you. You tell me. You do 100% raw for 1 month, and then go out and have you some cooked foods. And see, proof is in the pudding. An old saying where I come from, meaning that it'll show you the truth of it all. I do have a tachycardia. They said it was POTS, paroxysmal, what is that? Paroxysmal something syndrome. It's been years since I've studied my EKGs. I used to read EKGs in St. Joe's. I mean, I was good at that. I can't remember what that stands for. There's so many abbreviations in the world. Anxiety, serious nervousness for seeming no reason. Well, there is a reason. See, when we get nervous and we get anxieties, we're looking for an external reason. No, there's a good internal reason for this, my dear one. And that's your adrenal glands. That means you probably have nerve rings in your eyes, your myelin sheaths are down, you're subjected to spasticity. And it just shows how acidic you are and that the adrenals are down, meaning the kidneys are probably down with it, and your nervous system's down. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Don't want to pass over this. I have a feeling it is my adrenals. Right on! You know, man, you got it right on. Where else would you go? Thyroid? No neurotransmitters there. Parathyroid? No neurotransmitters there. See, so you're going to the appropriate place. You're going to the proper place. When I don't get enough natural sodium, it's worse. See? So your sodium-potassium pumps off, and that's the adrenal kidney matrix. So you want to work on those. Really want to work on those. Especially if you're younger. But everybody work on those. And I was wondering if you had any tips for my first fast this long. I would definitely, dear one, take some herbs with the fast. Because if you're having this kind of problem, it could be you're going to experience some really low blood pressure. And that could make you really fatigued and lightheaded. So people don't understand that adrenal weakness. When you start withdrawing stimulants from your diet, which is your proteins and all of those things, everything just settles down. And especially when you get your kidneys to start getting rid of these acids, which are hypertensive, everything just, I feel good. Yeah, I'm good now. That means all your stats are going to go down too a little bit. And when your adrenals stats can go way down, and you get to see genetically where your adrenals are, because you will hit your genetic base and then go up. So you'll get to see how low do I go. Because if you go anywhere below 100, you're going to really see chronic fatigue and anxieties. And anything in the 90s, and I was just showing this one blood pressure, say 107 over 80. Let's say you have 107 over 80. Well, 80 is too high. That's medical thinking. Well, they reduced it to 75, but no one paid any attention. 80. It should be 60. So that's 20 points too high. That's the kidneys. The diastolic is your kidney pressure. So take that kidneys and fix those kidneys. Get those kidneys filtering, get all that inflammation out, settle those kidneys down, and they'll start going down to 60. If they're genetically weak, they can actually go lower into the 50s. And that's not, you don't want too low a kidney pressure either. So, if you're 107 over 80 and you're 20 points too high on the bottom, so I take 20 points off of 107, where am I? 87? That's a snoozer, brother. That's someone that's in real trouble, because the bottom is pushing up the top. Get the bottom and the top will come down. It happens every time. And people freak out and this, and it's like, learn what detoxification is, learn what true health is, true healing is, and you'll understand everything that's normal, that everybody goes through it. But medical doctors are trying to understand a field they can't, because they never went to school for it, they never took the time to learn it. They maybe took a weekend nutritional course and suddenly they're nutritionists, but they're not healthcare practitioners. And that's what they're trying to convince the world, that they're healthcare practitioners. Nothing can be further from the truth. They're dispensaries of pharmaceuticals. But I'm blessed. Thank you so much there. Absolutely. I would definitely add herbs to this, because I think you're going to find that you could dump and get real fatigued and lightheaded in doing this 40-day fast. So I would hitchhike an adrenal formula. If you roll low blood pressure with licorice, kidneys, maybe one lymphatic. You know, you can have herbs during a fast. And not make it 100% fast, but sometimes if you do 100% water fasting and you have real low adrenal and fatigue problems, this could really get you into some chronic fatigue stuff. So I don't know, sometimes I like to get people all kind of moving and kidneys filtering with fruits and berries and melons and herbs and get them everything turned on, clean the liver out of sludge, get some of the bowel walls off, work on the kidneys a little bit before I do the 40-day fast. Then you'll have a better 40-day fast. You'll be more comfortable. You won't have the systemic backlash that you generally do if you just jump right into one. That sort of thing. You don't have the cravings, that sort of thing. But enjoy your 40-day fast. All right, here's questions. 2 questions. Read. Delivery status notification failure. Love all your videos. Very, very good stuff. Thank you, Mama. My wife, Anna. I just read it, Anna. Anna Marie, age 58, has stage 5 CKD. Creatinine. Oh, wow. Are you in the States? Or is this foreign? Rob, this is from Rob. That's my son's name, Rob. Oh, my older son. And he's almost 50. Isn't that horrible, guys? I'm getting old. Yep, no woman wants an old man. Man, I got a lot of mucus. I've been detoxing as much as I can. Well, the creatinine at 351. If this is American stats, that's the moon, brother. Because in the creatinine here, you generally got, say, 0.5 to 0.99 or 1. A good lab is not going to have over that. But some of your other labs are going to 1.32. You're going to see dialysis probably at 5 or 6, if not before, if you listen to your medical doctor. But 351, like I say, now some labs, that would be in a different stat figure. I'd have to see the lab and see what their lab stats are. And a GFR 12. Was in the hospital due to inflammation with the pancreas, at which they did not find what caused it. You know what's amazing to me? Just what you said here. Listen to this, guys. And every one of you can answer this question. Every one of you guys need to be able to answer this question. All right, so she went to the hospital. She had inflammation in the pancreas, probably pancreatitis, right? All right, but they couldn't find what caused it. You can't find out what causes inflammation? And you know why? Because they do not understand the lymphatic system and its relationship with metabolitic acidic waste. They get this picture, it'll help change a whole lot of stuff. Like Discovery Channel said, they'll have to rewrite the medical books because they're wrong in so many places. So, always at the core of inflammation, non-parasitic, is always going to be what cytochemistry? Acid. So your next question is, where do these acids come from in my body that he's talking about? Where's all these acids coming from? Diet could be, you could get some acids from diet, absolutely. If you're on a protein diet, you're eating predominantly an acid-forming diet. Beans, grains, acid-forming diets. Most people are eating acid-forming diets, meaning the chemistry, instead of being electrolyte-rich, is acid-forming rich, meaning that your electrolytes are low and it just keeps adding to agglomulation, acidosis, that whole scenario of pain and suffering that we go through. So when you don't understand what caused it, boy, you're in a heap of trouble. So you could never call yourself a healthcare practitioner if you don't understand the lymphatic system, correct? Because that's a major system. That is one of the major systems of the human body. You don't understand that, then how could you understand anything else? Good question, huh? So, always she is out of the hospital and is able to eat solid foods now since February 2017. All right, so her lymph system's down. She has pancreatitis. Fix the GI tract. So you're going to go after the kidneys. You're going to go after her adrenal glands. You're also going after her lymphatic system. You're also going to go after her GI tract, kidney, liver, and gallbladder as well. those same herbs will cross over to the pancreas. You can give her the pancreatic formula as well. But you're after the lymphatic system more than you're after her pancreas, because that's the cause of the problem. You can go after the pancreas. Matter of fact, we could cut half the pancreas out. We could cut the spleen out. We could cut the left adrenal gland out. See what I'm saying? Or we could simply fix the system that's down in all those tissues and everything's good. And your patient or client or whoever they are to you is healthy and well and not cussing you out for what you did to them. And then the karma, just because you're a medical doctor doesn't give you free karma. So the karma the medical doctor is going to have, and this lady had the karma too. Everything is karma driven. So even though this is disgusting stuff and everything, it's karma driven. Cause and effect. I purchased from you guys Kidney and Bladder 1, Kidney and Bladder 2. Will this tonic above affect the pancreatic? Yes. Yes, but you want the adrenal glands, you want a GI tract one, the GI broom. Go after this. Liver gallbladder. Maybe even do a liver gallbladder flush in about a month and a half. Absolutely. Clean your body out. All this will go away. We were told from our kidney doctor not to detox. Oh. Well, you know why, don't you? Because if you do, you'll save your kidneys and then you won't need him anymore. Oh, or her. There still may be a little bit of inflammation. Oh my God. That's why you detox in the first place, is to get rid of the word inflammation. The problem is though, wrong thinking. Inflammation isn't a problem. It isn't a disease. It's your own immune system's response. That's all inflammation is your own immune system's response to what? As a rule, we can use the word protein/acids. As a rule. Or when you weaken a cell, look at your different immune cells and what their job is. So, you want this. And this medical doctor hasn't got a clue. He doesn't have got a clue. He probably needs to detox, or she, big time anyway, herself. But that's the only thing that will save her, is the detox. Because detox to be scared of. It's the process of hydration, which is a process of alkalization, creating an anionic environment. That environment will start to fix everything. Anything that's tumors or solidified masses will start to break up. It'll start to reduce the inflammatory response. But he made it think and that's what they do, is make you think that inflammation is the problem. That's why you detox, is to remove the causes of the inflammatory response systemically. That's better said. I have to laugh at some of these docs. Come on, guys. My wife still has a hard time with energy, not enough to get up the stairs. What gland is down in her? The adrenal glands, and that controls what system besides the lymph system? Mineral utilization, sugar metabolism, the nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, neurotransmitters. Remember that? Neurotransmitters. Yeah, epinephrine. Yeah, come on. Just do it. Let's do it. That's epinephrine. Or let's get out of here. That's epinephrine. The dopamines are more, hey man, let me relax so I can eliminate my waste. So when your dopamines are low, you don't pee right. You don't. That's why stress keeps your epis up, your epinephrine's up, but reduces your dopamine. So elimination is more difficult from a neurotransmitter or a neurological perspective as well. So you got to work on your wife's lymphatic system. This is tied to the adrenals. Remember, the adrenals control that. So the adrenals are down. That's her fatigue and affecting her nervous system. Of course, that's affecting the lymph system, which is creating the inflammatory response in the pancreas. But it's probably all through her, to be honest with you. And I'm going to guess that if she has acidosis of the pancreas, she has it interstitially in the intestinal wall, which probably would create a malabsorption case. $5, this is malabsorption to some extent or not. So if you're stating no protein from animals, then is it okay to use veggie plant-based protein instead along with fruit? What are you looking for protein for? Wrong name. So let's say you corrected that and you said, all right, so no protein from animals. What about veggie plant amino acids? Not plant proteins, plant amino acids. Because in a simpler, non-complex form, as in veggie and fruit matter, we loosely call those amino acid structures as opposed to protein structures. You could argue that fact that it's a protein structure, and I would buy into that, I guess. But it's a loose structure, and therefore not a lot of hydrochloric acid, not a lot of anything like that needs to be dealt with. Only in complex amino acid structures, which we dub proteins, which is your beans, your meats, and things like that. Why are you looking for that? Protein isn't a healer. So I don't know why you're looking for protein as a healer. It's not a healer. Amino acids are mainly used as transportation buddies. You can use them to increase muscle size, but they're used a lot as carriers in the body, carrying constituents through cell membrane walls, things like that. So I don't know why you want to think about putting higher amino acid blends with them, because that tends to be more your nitrogen side, which is not really the side we want. We want the carbon side. We want to get away from the thought of protein. We want the side of energetics. We want the side of alkalization, and we want simple structures of chemistry. We want it magnetically alive. So you got to lose this protein concept. You're carrying it around like a ball and chain. Remember our mother milks. All the mother milks across the land, except carnivores. Protein is the least of the three constituents. The least. God said that carbohydrates is the number one on the planet. And it is. Man just has a problem with carbohydrates. He confuses carbohydrates with starch, which is more man-made. Grains, complex sugars. We recommend carbohydrates. We don't recommend starches. But your woman needs to get herself straightened around here and get her kidneys up, her adrenals up, and align her thinking a little differently. My other question, I know that the liver can regenerate, but how does the kidney repair itself? Same way. every cell is replicable. You can rebuild almost everything in the human body. I suppose there's a point where the body's so down, so acidic, so energetically down and everything else that nothing's going to rebuild. Possible. But you can turn all that around. You have the power, each and every one of you, to turn this whole thing around and become vital and healthy again. I don't care what age you are. There's a guy 90 we're going to start working on. He's 90-some. And just his story, I can get him to 120, 130, easy. Because it cannot regenerate itself. Well, how does the kidney repair itself? Because it cannot regenerate itself. Who said it could? Medical doctors? Well, show me a medical doctor that regenerates anything. Actually, I don't regenerate anything either. People don't. The body does. Nature does. We assist and know the proper chemistry and the proper alignment of nutrition to make that happen. But your body's the one that regenerates itself. That's simple. And for anybody to think it doesn't, just shows you the ignorance of those people. They're not healers. They're not true healthcare practitioners. If you're a true healthcare practitioner, you can answer that easy because you've regenerated hundreds of kidneys in your life. From stage 4 kidneys, stage 5. My wife was at the GFR 7 and creatinine at 5.1 with the issue of the pancreatic issue. I'm thinking that this is a different lab setup because there's no way you could have an American Labs at 541. You'd be dead. We really do not want to go on dialysis, period. No kidding, and you don't. So get yourself healthy. Forget about proteins, forget about that. That's what sends you to dialysis. Get your wife on fruits, berries, and melons, only 100%. You know you're going to have trouble if you don't, so get 100% fruits, berries, and melons. Get the herbs for the kidneys, the lymphatic system, the endocrine glands, clean up the bowels, and your wife will have a new life. Also would like to know, can you tell by taking a camera shot of my wife's eyes if she has a lot of toxins? Absolutely, Rob. Can see the whole lymphatic system and all that. Absolutely. Can see all these things. Good stuff, You want me to keep going, or should we call it? I don't want this to get too long for you. Okay. Oh, well. Subject, dog with heart condition. My miniature, dash hound, is 14. 14, wow. 14 and a half. He currently has an enlarged liver, shortness of breath, short bursts of breath, and easily exhausted, and a heart rate of 60 beats per minute. The vet did a scan on him and didn't find any heart abnormalities, so it's possible he has had a slow heart rate most of his life. They put him on, I don't know even how to pronounce that, Fortecor and furosemide, and gave him an injection at the vet. A lot of these vets they're just medical doctors. All right, so let's look at this. All right, your dog has an enlarged liver, right? Is that what you said, liver? Now, enlargement. Enlargement of an organ or gland is called hypertrophy. So you have hypertrophy or enlargement of the liver. Now there's enlargement of the lungs, there's enlargement of the heart, there's enlargement of the adrenal glands, there's enlargement of everything. What cytochemistry do you guys think causes enlargements? Of course it's the acid cytochemistry. Of course it's the lymphatic system, because what is the effect of acidosis? Coagulation, edema, all the things that you experience in pain and suffering and tumors and breakdown of the human body. Absolutely. So dogs don't have sweat glands. Notice that? They pan it out. You got to go after your dog just like you would your next door neighbor. So you want a kidney formula. You want an adrenal formula because it's shortness of breath. So they lose. Dogs already have kidney weakness as a genetic. The whole breed, the whole canine breed is genetically compromised in the kidneys. Well, that means to a certain extent in the adrenal glands. So you want to hit them with an adrenal formula, a kidney formula. That'll increase neurotransmitters and hopefully help the breathing out. You want to go after the kidneys of the dog because this is a lymphatic problem in the dog, and you want to get this going. Does your dog grow little skin tags or little bumps on them, and they go up and down? That's the lymph system. By the way, I'd get the dog away from proteins as much as I can and try to get him into as much veggies as they'll eat or fruit, if you can. But that's how you're going after your dog like you would your neighbor or yourself. Enlargement is due to acidosis, and the vet didn't know what enlargement was caused. It's like Vet Brenda on Dr. Poe taking out a lymph node in a pit bull's neck to see why it was enlarged. It's a lymph node. Jesus criminy. Yeah. You could get a little drop of licorice root. Pop that up, maybe get that breathing up a little faster. A little better for the dog. But you're going to detox the dog. Now, they detox out of the mouth, so they can foam at the mouth, mucus out the mouth. The heart, that 60 beats a minute. I don't know what the normal beat for a dog is. 60 beats is normal for a human, of course. But a heart is only one aspect of what you would want to look at here. You would want to look at the nervous system that feeds the heart. Which nervous system is that? The autonomic, right? The worker bee. That's the adrenal cerebellum. But, I mean, you just want to detox your dog. I would like to know if there's anything I can do, like give my dog milk thistle. Absolutely. To help detox it, absolutely can. Or get our liver gallbladder formula. But it's not the liver that's the trouble. It's the lymphatic system in the liver that's the trouble. See what I'm saying? The liver might be in trouble too. You'd have to look at the liver enzymes and stuff. If the vet, I'm sure, did a blood work up on him, so look at the blood work. But if the liver enzymes are good, this is totally edemic. I mean, this is totally lymphatic in origin. And suggestion is that, you know, when you're enlarged in one area, your lymphatic system's backed up all over the place. Oh yeah, this is good thinking. H. All I know is H. Is there anything else I can do, or am I looking at euthanizing my poor baby? Hell no! You don't have to kill your dog. Alright, so get your dog on lymphatic 1. Let's see, a Dachshund, Dachshund, so he's got to be really little. So I don't know, a drop or 2. 2 drops probably, or 3. Somewhere in that weight. Look at the weight, look on the bottle. But I'd give at least 2 to 3 drops. You want adrenals? Kidney number 1. Lymphatic number 1. Endocrine glands. Let me see how that works. See how that works. That ought to pull that enlargement right out of there. You could give them liver gallbladder too. 3 drops of that one too. So 3 drops of each one of those in there ought to take care of that dog pretty well. Try to get away from proteins as much as you can. But I'll tell you this. All your dogs, you do not feed them high protein diets or you're going to get sick dogs. You're going to lose their kidneys and everything else, just like what's going on here. So dogs cannot handle high protein either, guys. There's only one animal species that can handle it, and they don't do well handling it, and that's the cat species. Notice they're always sleeping 20, 22 hours a day. Where's their energy? Energy doesn't come from amino acids, by the way, guys. That's insanity. Energy comes from what? Carbon. Carbohydrates. That's ATP, ADP, and AMP. Adenosine triphosphate, adenosine diphosphate, and adenosine monophosphate. These are your energy factors to cells, and they need carbon to do it. Sugars, essential. The first essential need of the body is energy. And you can see that when you look at the milks and you realize we're an islander species, and that if it's true that the fruit diets were responsible for the increasing of the brain size in primates and humans, you've got your answers. Your answers are getting laid out in front of us, just like a book written by God, which it is, basically. Thyroid colossal. Big boy. I can always tell when this is overseas, because in this country we don't tell people sir. I was raised to say sir and ma'am, but hello sir, my name is Mark. Hello Mark, my name is Robert. My 2-year-old, almost 3-year-old son has been diagnosed with thyroid colossal. The hell is that? It just started appearing within the past month, but it does not seem to be infected, and he does not seem to be in any pain. He just has a bad cough. Is surgery the only option? What? Surgery? For that? Can anything else be done? Well, of course. Now, here's a hitchhike paper to this. I just saw a doctor and got more information. The thyroid colossal duct cyst is not infected. It's a duct cyst. The fluid inside it, if it is serious, there's no blood or anything else inside of it. Also, some of the swelling has gone down, which means some of the fluid came out. It's a lymphatic problem. That's all it is. It's a lymphatic problem. But what does this tell you, my friend? And listen, Mark, you want to pay attention to this, because he's only 3 years old. And your daughter's already demonstrating a little lymphatic problems, meaning kidney and adrenals are down. Check her blood pressure, see what her blood pressure is. But her kidneys and adrenals are down. And that's why you're seeing that swelling, and it's probably a little genetically weak in that area. And that's why you see that cyst on there. Because all lymphatic systems are more stagnant in genetically weakened areas than in your stronger areas, no question. We've talked about that before. So that cyst is just like a tumor. Got to detox the child. Better not be on any milks or anything at 3 years old, or you're sending your little daughter down the road to cancer, because the cyst is just the beginning of the world of tumors. And you want to stop this right now. Back off. No surgery needed for that. My God, that's what makes you sick to your stomach. Simple detoxification. Clean your daughter right out and get that out of there. Get all that lymph moving, because you want. Let me see what else here. There's no inflammation either. They basically are telling me about surgery to remove the cyst in the pocket holding it, so that hopefully this does not happen again. Oh God. Operation on a 3-year-old? You got to really think this out. And the reason is I don't know where she's at neurologically or in her adrenal glands, but I have seen babies that have went under the knife within a few months old to up to 3 years old that had extreme adrenal weaknesses that end up dying from can't breathe. Remember the Michael Jackson effect. Propofol is a neurotoxin. It suppresses breathing. And when you already have weak adrenal glands, which suppresses breathing, and you're consuming things that suppress breathing, get yourself in trouble. It's like smoking a joint when you have real low blood pressure and you smoke a joint, which is going to lower your, which is somewhat of a neurotoxin, and you start struggling to breathe or take a deep breath. Same thing. I mean, people tell me that. Why would there be blood in a cyst or anything like that? It's going down, so that's a good thing. But it simply means you got to get your daughter on a fruit and berry and melon diet. She's 3 years old. You want to develop her brain. You want to develop her ability to comprehend. Get her on fruits, berries, and melons, and you're going to be a good dad. You'll fix your daughter right up. It'll clean all these cysts out of her. It'll get her kidneys filtering, your adrenals up, and you've got a healthy girl all the way through. Or the chain of events that goes through the medical community. And let's just say you didn't want to go that way. Too bad. You have to. It's forced upon you in America. Yeah. Can this be massaged out? I wouldn't. What I would do, my neural lymphatic points will drop it down, but I wouldn't massage it out. But I would work with my neural lymphatic points, work on the kidneys and adrenals, because even though the kidneys are here, back here, and you're talking here, this is the route it must go. Unless you it out or sweat it out, the kidneys are the only route for that fluid to go, and that is an acidic fluid, by the way. That cyst is full of acidic fluid and can break down the thyroid. Let's look at this one. Oh, wow. Metal and broken screws in the leg. What your worst nightmare. You have an accident, you get plated up, and then you have another accident, you bend your plates or you break your screws. Oh. And you don't want to have a rod in your leg and then have an accident and then bend the rod. Oh. That's not good. That's not good. Oh, let's see here. Thank you for all your good works. Thank you so much. Love you, man. Thank you. Thank you. Who is this? It doesn't say here. My husband broke his fibula near the ankle and severely dislocated his ankle. Ouch. Now, he wanted to do a 40-day grape fast, but got scared when the surgeon said he would never walk again if he did not get a stainless steel metal plate put in. What? And 9 bolts to keep it together, because his tibia, the main support of the body, was moving and needed to be bolted. Well, he might have a point. That's a problem even with hernias. Trying to get that body to repair itself while you're, moving around. Somewhat troubling. Now 7 months later, he had to go in and have a quick. Oh, I figured that. This is a surgery nightmare. potential to take the 2 long bolts out because there was a potential of them breaking, especially seeing as he is 6'2". Whoa, 290 pounds. Man, you're almost a 300-pounder. You got to lose some weight, brother. Well, when they went in to take the screws out, they all had broken. And the tibia had moved quite a bit, and now the doctor wants to go in for a 3rd time and redo the whole operation again. Wow. Here's where you have to be careful. Just what's going on with you. Too many surgeries, propofol. Remember that lady I told you after her 4th surgery on her knee came out with type 1 diabetes and she stopped menstruating? All neurological, all from that. We got it all back for her, but still, look at that. And that was a neurological suppression of those functions. You got to always remember that. The nervous system controls everything, and when it's down, everything can go down with it. So those adrenals are little sweethearts. Do you believe he could heal doing a long grape fast with still leaving the metal in him and not going through the 3rd operation? He is willing to do the work now, but is it too late? I don't know what to say about that. I mean, a surgeon that deals with that is smarter about that thing than I would be. However, if he's too big and that's going to be compromising, the problem is, what did they do in the 2nd surgery? Did they put new bolts? What did they do? Did they fix it? It's enough to say, from my viewpoint, 100% pure raw diet is highly advised. Further, I would have a green drink a day. Parsley, dandelion greens, beets, spinach. You can put some celery for flavor, cucumber juice for flavor. But go do 1 green drink a day. Everything else is grapes, apples, bananas, that sort of thing. Now, where do you think I'm going to suggest you go? I know, I heard you. Parathyroid. You dang right. Now, he's 6'2". So, I'm going to take a look at his eyes. And where am I going to go? I'm going to go to the pituitary gland. He's a little tall. So I'm going to go to the pituitary gland. If I see a weakness, and I'm going to also look at the parathyroid gland. I want to see 2 glands. I want to see parathyroid and I want to see pituitary. Because I know what? If I can kick them up, I can kick up his healing. Right? Right. Now, so what I would do is I would do a parathyroid glandular, and I would do 2 TID, which is 2-3 times a day. They're 50 milligrams. I would do a pituitary herbal formula. I would do a bones formula, 3 TID. At the same time, I'm on to the kidneys, the adrenals. I'm working on my body. I'm working on my body. I'm alkalizing. I'm hydrating. I am going to inspire regeneration of tissue. What you do about the plates, I can't give you an informed thing with that. Because if they're moving around that much, you might have to be a little on the sedentary side for a while. But then that diet would be perfect for that because it's a good diet for sedentary purposes. It's electric. It's nutritional. And it'll realign itself and heal itself. So I don't know. I know you got to weigh all this out. Does he really need the 3rd surgery? Did they fix anything in the 2nd surgery? You want the bones to repair and fix themselves. Tendons, everything. You want everything. You want to get all this acid out. Because remember, the trauma itself, the surgery itself is acid forming. So you got to repair from the surgery itself or you'll get scar tissue down there. So it's just got all kinds of things involved. But they're level 1 and 2. Beth, honey, I would go that route. I don't know about the plate, what I'd do about that, can't say. Depends how much the surgeon scares me, I guess. But you have to lead a little bit of a sedentary, right? Get crutches or get the weight off of that and let that heal a little while. But 100% raw is essential. Like I said, a green drink a day would be helpful with this, I think. And then pick up your bones formula, pick up your parathyroid, pituitary. At the same time, add that to a regimen that you're going to detox him. because he's 290 pounds. So he's definitely got the adrenals down. But does he have the thyroid with it? And it could be that he does have thyroid, parathyroid. If his pituitary is down because he's 6'2", even a little bit, that could suppress the thyroid and parathyroid there. He could have nothing wrong with the thyroid, parathyroid, but have parathyroid symptoms because of the pituitary. Did I take care of that question? Yeah. All right. Oh, wow. Get this one. The subject is cancer, cannabis, and bile duct cancer. My dad was diagnosed with a vicious form of cancer this past summer of 2016 called, oh my God, it's a long name meaning bile duct cancer, which has metastasized to the peritoneum wall. But remember that it's a whole system down, and nothing really moves and creates problems in other places. It's springing up all over, just like a whole. You just cleared a whole bed for a garden, but you don't have time to put it in, and pretty soon all the weeds start popping up again. Yeah. Your lymph system is systemic and all over the place. To have a bile duct problem is to have a problem systemically. Now, I say that, but you must realize on top of that if there's a genetic weakness in a specific area, that area will be more compromised lymphatically than others that are not genetically compromised. How you can get a genetically weak bile duct only would be interesting. He is doing traditional chemo plus an angiogenic. My guess it's probably going to be Lupron or something like that drug, which cuts new blood vessel formations. Which cuts new blood vessel formations to tumors. Now, you realize when you take a chemical that cuts off blood supply to tumors, that's not all that chemical does. You can't train a chemical to cut off blood supply just to a tumor. That's bull hockey. That's one of the biggest sell tactics I've ever heard a pharmaceutical make. Oh, this is just going to target the blood vessels to that tumor. Oh, really? And not touch your other blood vessels in any way, shape, or form? Give me a break, guys. You got to be real careful believing what these guys say, because a lot of people have, and they're dead now because of it. With mixed results. Of course, with mixed results. He also takes micro dosings of cannabis oil, milligrams, not grams. He takes CBD oil and THC tincture, 1-to-1 ratio, plus the THCA, a raw form of THC. He ought to be a happy fella. If you're taking THC, he total intake of cannabis oil is no more than 145 milligrams per day. In addition, he is on vitamins B, C, D, and other minerals, including magnesium. Okay? So let's stop right there. First of all, I'm going to take him off most of the vitamins. I'll probably leave him on an E, but make sure it's a gamma level E. You want at least a gamma level E, not a beta either. You want a gamma level D. I think we have the gamma levels here. I haven't used vitamin E in so many years, but we carried only the gamma levels, I think it was. I get C is ascorbic acid. You don't want to give them vitamin C. You want to give them flavonoids. Well, the only way you're going to find flavonoids outside of the bioflavonoids in supplement form is go to your foods, which is where you want to go in the first place. I would get rid of the minerals because that's a no-brainer. You're going to throw his mineral system off. So you want to get rid of the minerals. That's going to do nothing for a lymphatic system whatsoever, but could compromise other systems. So, question number one. My question is, what is your take about the use of cannabis oil? Yes, any oil is antacid. Remember that. Oils are antacid. And his condition is a highly acidic condition. But you can't, when you have a raging fire, say your house is burning down, you can't throw a little oil on it and expect to stop it, the whole house from burning down. Not going to happen. You would have to be predominantly on an oil diet, and then you're going to get acidosis, or at least ketosis. Dang. Come out, baby. How about when it is administered via suppository? Is this a good idea? You know, it's better by mouth in my opinion. This is my opinion, because there's very minor absorption when you get up in the rectal area. Basically water, and you can feel the water coming out of the lower portion into your bladder, but you know, there's not absorption of nutrients. That takes place predominantly in the small bowel and the upper portion, micronutrients in the upper portion of the colon. But in the lower portion, that's where everything is pulled out and everything else. So I don't see that as a benefit. Now, if this person couldn't have if they had gastroparesis or something, or you couldn't go by mouth, you couldn't do the feeding tube, that's the only place. Go up the rectal. Matter of fact, I've been trying to get suppositories for rectal cancer and for vaginal wall cancer. I have joined your club and will start the diet modifications. However, I have a question about your herbs for my dad given his liver condition. All right, so liver condition. This is a bile duct. That's a pancreatic. Oh no, that's liver. Gallbladder. I'm thinking of pancreatic duct. I don't know. I've been homing in on the pancreatic duct so much because of this bicarbonate issue. Yeah. What's going on with the liver enzymes and alkaline phosphatase, anything like that? But, you know, the pancreas is right across the street. It could go down too. So here's the thing. If I'm your dad, and my son, you, convinced me that chemo is tearing me down, and that the survival rate of chemo itself is low. Not the cancer, the chemo. The radiation, I'm just going to burn my body and create more damage to cells everywhere in my body, and I'm not going to be able to pull out of this. And I get that. Then I'm going to go immediately, probably on at least a 20-day grape diet. All the grapes, green, red, seeded. Matter of fact, juice the seeded, but I'm going on a grape diet. I get it now. I know what it's going to take to hydrate and move my lymph system and get these acids out of here and break up these tumors. I'm going to hit it. That's what I would do. If my son could convince me I needed to do that, and showed me these videos and got me up to speed to what's going on with me, and not freaking out and doing the stupid thing of chemo and radiation, which is going to take your dad's life. If it doesn't, he's not a happy camper, I can tell you. I know what chemo and radiation does to you. Number 2, which form is better to take the herbs when the liver is compromised? Tincture, glycerin, or pills? Good question there. I tell you, even though the liver is compromised, you haven't said the liver, you said the bile duct. I wouldn't hesitate at all with the alcohol ones, because they're not alcohol so much. You got to realize all that has just been fused so much. I wouldn't do any number 5s until I knew those liver enzymes and everything was in good shape. I wouldn't do number 5s. Blood root, poke root should not be used with elevated liver enzymes, because it is hard on the liver. If you do too much of those, of course it's hard on the liver. But we don't do too much of those, and those break up tumors. So, but I say that, and if your dad was having a hard time getting it, I'd give him lymph node 5 without hesitation. But you know how you can back that up? Liver gallbladder formula. That'll back that up. That'll buffer the liver from the heavy hit of the alkaloids. But this is a lymphatic problem. The other thing I'd be doing is GI broom, stomach and bowels. Man, I'm going to clean it open. I'm going to open everything up. I'm going to sweat. I'm going to start cleaning all the mucoid plaque off of my bowel walls. I'm going to pull the sulfur out if there's any. I'm going to get my kidneys to filter. So I don't care which form. Get them down. But I use pills and tinctures, which is your alcohol tinctures. Glycerins actually need more liver activity than alcohol does, because it needs to be metabolized, where alcohol, not so much. If you could answer these questions on YouTube, I will be forever grateful. I'll be happy to. I love you, man. Oh, this is Beatrice. Isn't that Beatrice? R-I-Z. I never heard it spelled like that. But with deep appreciation to you too, my dear one. But I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going, man. I'm going to honk on with the fruit diets, get my kidneys filtering. That might include some 24, 36-hour dry fast, but who cares? I'm going after this. And you'll be totally successful. Or your dad will be, whoever we're dealing with here. Let me do one more. We'll do one more. If I get this too long, you guys will get mad at me. This is Stephen. Hey, Stephen. Hey, Doc Morse. It was great to see you at the Detox Level 2 course. That was fun. This year, even more. Even more. Each year I learn where I'm deficient and add, because I'm one of those guys that I never keep the same thing. I never have the same class. It's not in my beingness to do the same thing repetitively. Remember, the view's always the same if you're not lead dog. So I don't like doing the same thing repetitively over and over and over. I like to shake it up. I like to get going. I have learned so much over the past 6 years. Has it been 6 years, my dear one? 6 years. Time's moving. Time's moving. We're still standing, though, with you, and now I am ready to give back. Oh, I have my practice up and running. Yahoo! Woohoo! I decided to focus on weight loss, given the epidemic nature. Smart. And then I can help cure the smart thinking, my man. If you would not mind taking a look at, well, as having Marcy and others provide any feedback, that would be great. I will do that. I'll give it to them. Weight loss and health naturally. Are you tired of the quick fix diets, exercising like a marathon runner, popping pills, counting points, starving yourself, and other diets without much success? Let's explain what is going on and how to correct your weight issues for life. Love it. I love this because this is the catch. This is your catch paragraph. I love it. And that's how you have to do. We were talking about that the other day, how open up yourself a business. You got to think of catch paragraphs and stuff. Let us explain what is going on and how to correct your weight issues for life. That's a good buzzword. That's a good catch paragraph there, because you gotta hook them in, because a lot of them are just brainless and mindless. You know, they're just lost in thoughts and desires. They believe what people tell them because they accept that academics is what they think it is and all that. Good. I love that. Yeah, put pictures of the lymph system. You guys can make your sites so cool. You can borrow from our sites and really make your sites really cool. The Heal All Tea. I mean, really make your sites exciting. You can talk about the lymph system, show the sewer system in the house. I mean, you can put all kinds of stuff on there. Talk about the fruit and the growth of the brain. That alone will interest people, because most people don't even consider fruits as a food. And here we've got a scientific study showing linking fruit to brain size. And I'm telling you, and we can link it to neurological regeneration. So it's just all exciting stuff. Getting your websites, get your books written. Is this not exciting? Mm-hmm. Good job, Stephen. Good job. Matter of fact, I'm going to take this. This is the name page of his website. I got that. They're looking out for you, Steve. My staff always researches all this when they give it to me. Can we sneak one more? Don't be mad. This is Jason Cook. Jason Cook. There's something about that. Jason Cook. Hi, I have subscribed to your website and I'm looking to heal my body. Good, Jason. That's the name of my younger son, Jason. I have severe allergies and blow my nose a minimum of 10 to 20 times a day. Now, I just had this conversation this morning with someone about the dairy proteins. You do not want to do any dairy proteins. That is your milks, your kefirs, your yogurts, your cheeses, and any other and sundry items that are dairies. It'll keep you draining like crazy. Now, you could have an irritation there that's constantly irritating the mucosa and creating this mucus. If you do, what would be the answer? And after reviewing these videos, if you have chemistry that's irritating or stimulating in the sinuses and the mucosa, what would you need to do to fix that? Detox. Isn't that funny? The universal word that means so much. You've got to clean that out, whether it's proteins or some foreign chemistry of some sort, or you breathe in something toxic or something, you've got to detox all this out. You could neti pot, normal saline, Hill tea, whatever, but you want to get your sinuses to break loose. How do you do that? You start working on your bowels, you start working on your kidneys and adrenals, you start cleaning and opening the doors. GI broom, stomach and bowels, kidneys, adrenals. You want to go after your system like this because you're full of allergies. What system is allergies involved in? Blood? No. Lymphatic. Again, this is going back to your lymphatic system. See, when you understand that this huge system has been overlooked and everything has been called the blood problems, you start to realize that's not true. And one reason I will agree with the medical doctor to a certain extent is bicarbonate to a certain extent. I'll only agree to a certain extent. But there's also the drawing of calcium out of the artery walls. And if you don't believe that, which medical doctors don't understand that, where do you get varicose veins and spider veins? And why can't I pull them right back in the body when I fix your parathyroid and I get you to utilize calcium? I can pull that structure right back in and you don't even know you have varicose veins anymore. And why did you have them in the first place? What was missing in that little one layer connective tissue? What was missing? Matrix. It was being borrowed. You know, sometimes we have to rob Paul to pay Peter. Remember that one? And the body's always doing that. Oh, listen to this. Okay, so severe allergies is chronic lymphatic stagnation. All right? So whether your food sources, or you're just full of mucus, or your diet is mucus forming, or you have irritation, the one remedy to all of those is regenerative detoxification. So your diet has to change, but this could speed up the mucus elimination. Now get this, I also have vitiligo on my hands, neck, and now around my mouth and chin. Well, vitiligo affects the retina in the skin pigmentation. The Michael Jackson effect. Again, the Michael Jackson effect. What gland has to be down? It affects pigmentation of the skin, the retina. Which gland? Pituitary. Pituitary. So when the pituitary is down, it can make everybody else down. You know, when the pituitary is not happy, everybody else is not happy. It's like the club leader, the scout leader. You're not happy, we're not happy. Okay, so upper circ, brain, and nerve is two I would go after. I'd go after my lymphatic system like nobody's business. You'd want to go after your pituitary gland. It's a big deal. And I would also want to take a look at your thyroid, parathyroid, and what's going on with your symptoms there, and see how much your thyroid or your pituitary is affecting your thyroid, parathyroid, and maybe adrenals and stuff. Because this is, you're just going to, and there's that pretty model that's showing that you can be a model and still have vitiligo. But it is a condition you can fix. because it is a problem with the pituitary gland. I have been a vegan diet for 2 years. My vitiligo has gotten worse since going vegan, and my allergies seem to be the same as they've always been. Vegan isn't a diet you fix things with. It's a supportive diet, a diet that you live on, and a raw vegan at that. Vegan nowadays, they have all kinds of vegans now. But you truly want to fix this, you got to get away from veganism and get up into fruitarianism. Fruits, berries, and melons is what I subscribe to when you're trying to fix something. Then go down to your vegetarianism or veganism or whatever you want to be. But you got to get up a lot higher, because being a vegan doesn't fix nothing. Nothing. I mean, to fix, you really got to get up there. You got to realize to fix things, you got to get up there in energy and chemistry and in botanicals. And then things fix. But just changing your diet to a vegan diet with cooked food ain't going to fix nothing. You have cooked food in your diet, your body can't regenerate itself. It lowers the systemic energy too much. Remember the law of homeostasis and magnetics. I've got a fruit here at 9,000 angstroms of energy. I got a piece of fruit, well, most of them are at 12,000. That would be more like a vegetable at 8 or 9. So I've got a fruit at 12,000, 13,000 angstroms of energy. I'm popping. But then I'm eating cooked broccoli at about 1,000. So if I was to mix cooked broccoli with fruit, here I've got 10,000 units of energy, and here I've got 1,000. So when I take a wheel and I spin a wheel at 100 miles an hour, right? Then I take another wheel and I spin it at 10 miles an hour, right? And I put these two together. The fast one is going to slow down. The slower one is going to speed up until they reach a what? Homeostasis, a balance. So think about that when you're thinking of diet. I want energy. I'm eating cooked food. I'm losing my systemic energy. What if your diet's all cooked? You got to remember, outside of neurotransmitters and the adrenals and all the hormones, you've got an energy factor in foods that people don't even think about. And that energy factor is key. So you're basically, when you cook, you're removing the energy or destroying the energy out of the food. So what you're doing is removing the consciousness and letting that food start disintegrating. Now it's on its downhill path to death and disintegration. The soul left the building. The soul left the building. And now I'm eating dead bodies of broccoli fibers. And it's lowering my energy, because I live in a world of physics. I live in a world of homeostasis. And if I want energy, I have to consume energy. If I want to, whatever. Okay. When I wake up in the morning, it's the worst. How can I fix this? Please help. It's the worst in the morning, because in the morning you're the most acidic. That's why they're calling your breakfast a breaking the fast from the night before. Who breaks a fast with eggs, bacon, and toast? Not too many people. So you want to be careful about that. So you break a fast with fruit. So breakfast is, breaking your fast from the night before should always be a fruit, berry, melon breakfast. End of story. And we're done. Wait a minute. Done. Yes. I love you guys. I get talking too long. I don't get a little rowdy here. But thanks for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. We're in a serious world here. And protect yourselves in every way. And I've got your back too, by the way. So as much as I can, I'm here to help you guys in every way possible. Look what we got through today. Be a long video. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves.